Hey everybody, it's your boy, The Damage, bringing you another... I can't do it. I just can't. Nope. Now it turns out, my fellow friends and my DM are going to be getting something a little bit special in the mail. Part of it they're going to find out about now. The other part, or parts, or several parts, maybe it's just one, I don't know. Actually, I know, they don't. Wahaha. They're going to find out about when they get it. But, for right now, let's go ahead and bring up the game so I can show them what they're getting, because it's on that screen. All right, hey everybody, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello.
So before we kick into it here, I'm going to kill the music. There we go. That way that's not overriding anybody's voices. On Thursday's stream, I did some character sketches. Just little updated pieces of the 3-player characters that aren't mine, because goodness knows I've drawn Nyril enough times. But I drew these. Here we have Raka in his new updated robes with the feather-trimmed collar and other good accessories, about to launch one of his Ray of Frost penguins. In the middle, we've got Theron with the flamberge of Searing, and a much better face than the original one I did. And Keela looking way more smug than she should, but you know what? With all the nat 20s she gets on sneak attack, she's earned that smug look. She is our absolute beast of a damage dealer in this party, so yeah, she can have that look and be fine. But she's got one of her trick arrows now, and tucked into the strap of her quiver is the Sandman, the very magical blackjack that Nyril bopped her on the head with to knock her out, and also did the same thing to Raka, which is why she confiscated it. But these weren't done just for fun. These were done so that this weekend I can print these out and then ink them onto some Bristol board and do marker color on them, so y'all can get original little pieces of your characters.
Oh, wow.
So those are going to be going out
Cool.
in the package of stuff, and Rastavar is going to be getting another character. I didn't have time to draw his character because I kind of ran out of time on stream, but yep, so that's why I did these. But the other parts of your gift packages, you'll just have to wait and find out. Wahaha. But I suppose it is time that we now go around and introduce ourselves. I'll kick off. I am the Damage. I am playing Captain Nyril Forms, and after rewatching videos, turns out I have to get a fair amount closer to this mic because his voice doesn't pick up very well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to be doing like the head bob thing here. He is a hare, he's a fighter and former bandit, and last time around he was actually able to get the Sword of Gaspard, the magical sword we've been after for the last 9 sessions. And up next, we have Dow Spoons, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your character.
I think you're muted.
Yep, I had myself on mute. Ha. Hello, everybody. I am the unmuted version of Tau Spoons. Tonight I am playing Sage Rakaw, Divine Soul Sorcerer, Corvum, Curious Bird, and gosh, we're all a little low, but I think for a change, I might have the most hit points in the party.
Well, how many are you at?
11?
11. Somehow, Nyril, did we get healing at the end of last session?
I think you did. I think Raka threw down a prayer of healing.
Okay, in that case, sorry, Raka. Nyril has 16.
Oh no.
Still not bad for someone who had failed 2 death saves.
Yep.
Although that was technically like a crit, wasn't it? Because I got a 1.
Yeah, it was a 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's two on, 2 off. It's even splitsies.
Yep. And Next up, we have Nuime, if you want to introduce yourself and your amazing character.
I'm Nuime. I play Gila, the rogue scout, Mistral Raptor, small burb. Yeah, I don't have that many hit points. I have temporary hit points. That's what I have right now.
They're all
But
temporary in the end.
they are. They're all temporary.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, could try and not die. But
I think that's
still
going to
gonna
be
be group mom.
the theme of this
Maybe.
session is try not to die. We are very nearly dead. And speaking of close to dead, but not dead yet, we have another player here. We have Nomad. You want to introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, I'm Nomad. I play Theron Thistlebrush, the Kensei monk who currently has 20 hit points. So,
Oh,
through the fun and magic of key points. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And smash that bell. Actually, no,
sure.
don't smash the bell. That's how you get. I think that's what happened is when America was founded and they cast the Liberty Bell. George Washington is all like, "Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and smash that bell," and somebody did, and that's why I got a crack in it. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And
Sounds legit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Truth.
it was a really old YouTube channel, the founding of America. Yep. Okay, I'll stop being silly and now introduce you to the most important person here tonight, the one who has put all this together for us and is running this crazy show as we are probably throwing wrenches into all his plans. That is, of course, our DM, Rastavar.
Hello, I am Rastavar, and I am playing everybody else in this wonderful adventure. And it has been a blast from beginning to end. And we are in what I consider to be Act 3 of our 3-session campaign. I mean, I knew it, or very early on in the planning stages, it was definitely not going to be 3 sessions, but still, it's been really fun to see this thing grow and see your characters develop. So yeah, excited to get into it. Do we have any business to attend to before we get started?
Just the quick reminder that during the game, I and the other players are not going to be able to interact with chat very much, if at all, because we're going to be focused on the game. There will be a break about halfway through, in which case I will still be here hanging out with you, and I'll be talking with chat. We'll go over all my amazing misplays and everything everybody else did better than me. And then at the end of the stream, I will also be hanging out with chat. During the stream, I have disabled things like the points redemptions. You will still, I think messages are still going to pop up for new follows because I always forget to turn that off. But other than that, it's kind of a interruption-free type of stream. And one more super cool announcement. Last night, we hit 800 followers. Holy crap. Thank you, everybody, for that. That is amazing. That really blew me away. I honestly didn't think I was going to hit it before the end of the month, and you all have been truly amazing. So thank you so much. I'm glad you like what I do. I'm glad you like what we do, and I'm glad you're here to hang out with us. And on that note, I shall probably have to hand it over here to Rastavar so he can get us going.
Absolutely. So, last time on Stonemoss Abbey. A victory at last, hard-earned and well-deserved. Our 4 adventurers, Nyril Forms, Keela of the Ember Guard, Theron Thistlebrush, and Sage Rakhaw, have undertaken a perilous journey into the Ashlands to recover the fabled Sword of Gaspard. This quest has taken them into a haunted tower, a giant serpent's lair, a deadly wilderness, and a withered elm tree infected by the ravenous and parasitic bramble. In the elm's canopy, alongside the serpent Astereth, our heroes fought 2 vicious bramble-cursed perytons and defeated them, laying claim to the sword that was hidden in their nest. Weary from battle, they have received grave news. the fell warlord, Lorik Thornheart, whose power comes from the bramble itself, has laid siege to the city of Maplecrest and has pushed it to the very brink of defeat. A message from their possible ally, Saoirse Moonshallow, tells them that Lorik has demanded single combat with Cassius Thistlebrush, the commander of the Maplecrest Ember Guard and Theron's father. The deadline, dawn. Though the only hope of defeating Lorik is finally in their grasp, there are still vital mysteries to be solved. Difficult decisions lie ahead for our exhausted heroes. So we are still in the canopy of the elm tree. And the dust has just settled on a vicious battlefield as you have destroyed these two monstrous bird creatures that had stolen the sword and secreted away into their nest. Astereth, for a tense moment, had turned on you, using her hypnotic gaze to demand the sword from Nyril, and Theron was able to appeal to her discretion that if the sword is not used to defeat Lorik, the bramble will overrun everything, including her own domain. She has contented herself with the remainder of the Perryton's treasure, and you now stand exhausted, wounded, victorious, but also haunted by the message you've just received. What are you going to do next?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Are we at the point where Keela has actually conveyed the message yet? I don't remember the very end of last stream.
She did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
One minor retcon. I had said it was about 5:30. I miscalculated. It's about 4:00 right now in the afternoon.
so we'll have to get to Maplecrest by dawn. Oh, man. I don't know how we're going to do that. Not in this shape.
Well, at least one thing that may aid us is some knowledge of Astereth's tunnel. You remember how she broke into the crypt? I'm wondering if maybe we could break back into Maplecrest the same way.
Good idea.
Definitely worth trying.
Who wants to ask Astereth where the tunnel ends?
Suppose I'll do it. And Naryl's going to...
I can hear you, you know.
I know, but we figured we'd be polite and ask you proper.
Well,
So,
can't argue with that.
Lady Astereth, the tunnel you used to get this sword in the first place, where's the best place we can access an opening to get us into Maplecrest with?
Oh, it's on the riverbank, outside the city walls, of course. I had to find a suitably secluded location. Copse of trees growing close to the river. I believe it was some 100 yards east of the walls. 100 or 200, somewhere in there. Of course, that hedgehog was very helpful in starting the dig.
Right.
You recall Brother Erasmus, the keeper of the crypt,
Yep.
who had been charmed by Astereth and met his end at her fangs.
Yeah, we done found him where you left him.
Well, yes. I would have taken care of him, but those spines stick fiercely in your throat.
Hmm.
I really regretted having to leave him there. No, I didn't. But it's the thought that counts.
I mean, not really in your case, but we'll take it. So, 100, 200 yards outside the wall on the riverbank in a copse of trees
To the east.
to the east.
That's, as I recall, the direction that Lorik is approaching Maple Crest from. This may be tricky.
Yeah, but if we can get in there unnoticed, means we can get inside the city. Otherwise, how are we going to get past them walls?
It's the river. Going under sounds better than back over.
Hmm.
Not really a fan of tunnels and such, but
Nothing wrong with a good tunnel.
sneak approach. Definitely the way to go here. And the sooner we get going, the better.
It's true, except one thing. And Niral's going to come over to the tree where one of Keela's crossbow bolts is still sticking out of it, still covered in the weed killer. And he's going to very carefully wrench that out and then turn around. Any of you have a empty bottle? Any chance?
You've all used several potions,
That's
so
right.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, he's going to try to, tap as much of the weed killer, down the bolt into the bottle as he can. You used the last of it, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
remember
sure I did.
we need this for the recipe Trildon gave us to stop Lorik. So
It's true.
hopefully I can recover enough. And it's not a lot, but he's hoping it's going to be enough. So, yeah, basically wiping everything off that he can into that bottle as possible. He'll stop up the little bottle and put it in his bag.
all right. You're able to get some of the fluid. You're not sure if it's quite a full dose, but you've got some.
While Nyril is doing that, Raka is going to use his vantage from the top of the elm to try to get the lay of the land both between the elm and Maple Crest, as well as, not Maple Crest, Alkheim. To get the lay of the land between the elm and Alkheim, as well as try to get a general map in his head of Alkheim.
Sure.
Things approximately where things are. Of course, he hasn't been there before, couldn't tell what's what, but knowing at least what things look like from this sky-high view could be useful.
So from your vantage on top of the elm, you have a pretty good view of Elkheim. And it is a city built on circles. There is a central ring containing the cathedral, which from here you can still see the boughs of a large tree, nothing nearly as large as the one you're standing on, but still a very stately alder tree growing out through the broken roof of the cathedral, still looking shockingly green compared to any of the other vegetation you've seen here in the Ashlands. Surrounding the cathedral, there are several concentric walls with other buildings and shops built into them. Probably what might have been once government buildings, barracks, training halls for soldiers. And then further out, you see in several pie wedge sectors, there are the rest of the city, marketplaces and smithies and houses, all of them looking half ruined. Most of the roofs are gone. A lot of walls have slumped down and collapsed. You see what looks like at first uh, a layer of snow, which you realize is ash, covering the entire city.
As I recall, the image of Trill had said she had her basically home laboratory somewhere in the city. If I was it to the west?
She said west of the cathedral,
Okay.
and you do see well, make a perception check.
Yes, I will happily do this.
All right.
Not
You
bad.
see what looks like the remains of a two-story house, one of the more intact buildings in the entire city, on a line due west from the cathedral, uh, facing the great open plaza that surrounds the cathedral.
Um, with my journal in hand, I'm going to basically try and work out a very rough map of the city, um, as well as an approximation of what things are. Clearly, I can't tell a smithy from a grocery store, but the bigger buildings, the ones that look like something dedicated to a particular purpose, I'll
Sure.
try to guess at those and have that handy just in case.
All right. You sketch out the map. And you also asked about the land between the Withered Elm and Alkheim. It is almost entirely dense forest. You see occasional twisting lakes reflecting the sky, streams and ponds. And you're reminded of the moat surrounding this elm.
Hmm. Well, that could be dangerous.
Much everything out here is proper dangerous, mate.
Well, more dangerous. Well, I'm beat. Anybody else want to rest?
You kidding, right? We gotta get moving.
That's right. We do have to be moving. Let's head down.
I mean, we could go a short distance, but I'm tapped out. I've got next to no personal reserves left. We need to rest sooner rather than later.
I hear you. Just follow this way for a bit if you don't mind.
Okay. Do.
He's going to call out, oi, Theron. Come on. We best get moving.
Yeah, you're right.
And Errol's going to carefully climb down to the lower platform. I know it's like a 10-foot drop or decline there.
Mm-hmm.
And attempt to go back inside the tree because I don't think there's a way down from the top otherwise.
Way
Yeah.
down for the birds.
Yeah, there's way down for the
I can
birds.
make it,
but-
but
All right.
just saying the rest of you can.
So you make your way down to the next level to where the shrine of the Amaranthine that you discovered on your way up, which, just as before, it is. Oh, sorry. The Ghost of Tristan the Warrior is not there anymore. But the shrine, just as before, is completely free of any sign of the bramble's influence. The water is clear and cool, and
Sorry.
you don't see any vines. It's quiet here.
Is there a door here that can be closed, or is this just open?
It appears to be open.
Okay. Okay, so now I was going to head in a bit closer and stop and shuck off his pack and drop it. Okay, I was not about to rest next to that snake, if you don't mind.
We're stopping.
I mean, look at us. I'm covered in blood. You're covered in blood. Ricard's covered in blood. Theron's covered in blood. We barely survived that. We are not going to survive heading through the Ashlands like this. Not without some rest.
And Maplecrest may not survive without us being there.
How much good are we going to be to them if we get ourselves killed along the way? We can still do it. We'll have to be fast, but I don't see another way.
I mean, I've still got a healing potion or two. We can keep going. We have to.
Well, we could certainly try, but I almost died up there. I'm not sure how much more I can take without some form of rest.
He's right. And this chamber, is the only proper safe place we done found out here. If we try to rest elsewhere, then we gotta be sleeping in shifts, always looking out. That ain't gonna do well. I know we need to get to Maplecrest. Trust me, I know. But something else done strikes me as a bit odd.
What?
Who'd you get that message from?
Sushi?
Sashi. The one who, reports to Lorik.
She don't report to him.
She's connected to him. And I still don't trust her. She just told us a place we need to be and a time we need to be there at. And maybe
He's
it's...
given us updates since we left.
And also keeping tabs on us as we search for the sword, what she was looking for.
Yeah, to get rid of Lorik.
Not so sure
Break
about
the
that.
hold or whatever little bit of hold he's got on her. She had plenty of times to get rid of us. Hell, she could have left all three of you dead
Yeah, then she wouldn't have
after he
her...
exploded the place. She didn't.
She wouldn't have her paws on this, would she? And he holds up the sword. The last time...
Big words coming from someone who, well, also has a questionable past.
Yeah, I do. And the last time I was told a specific place to be and time for an important event, I was double-crossed. And when I
We're
picked
wasting
this...
time we don't have. If Lorik wanted that sword, he would have that sword already. Either one of those little creatures could have flown it over to him and delivered it to him right in his hand.
Sickly.
At the same time, we don't know if we can trust Cersei. We think we can, but we don't know. But at this point, all I do know is that if she's telling the truth, it's my father's head on the chopping block. And I also know that we've pushed as far as we can push. There's no way we go forward without rest.
It would be the greatest of tragedies if, in our haste, we rushed out and lost the sword to the wilderness, failed our charge.
Guess you're
So-
right.
So
Don't
if
like
there's
it.
any
Fine.
chance of this happening, we rest now.
Agreed. And I'm not taking your father's position lightly. I know, so
know.
she might be telling the truth, but I pray she's not. Still, we're going to try.
Unfortunately, we've run against an enemy that can dictate their own time and place for things. And we're just going to have to make do the way best we can, just as we have this whole way.
This.
Well, let's get to resting then. This... We're just burning light. Burning what little time we got.
Fair enough. So Nyril is gonna scoot closer to Theron and speak to him quietly, saying, "Theron, are you sure I should be the one to carry this?" He indicates to the sword. When I picked it up, I saw things. And I can't explain it, but you trained for this. If maybe it'll show you something. You trained for this. You know what you're supposed to do. Maybe it'll show us another way. Why don't you hold on to it for tonight, or while we rest or whatever. See if it can work its magic on you. I don't have any other ideas. I just know that I'm not afraid to go. No. Not after what it showed me.
The only thing I know is, unless that sword can magically heal us and restore us and teleport us, it's not going to do us a whole hill of good right now, no matter what we do. Get some rest.
Sleep well.
You too.
He's just
gonna kind of kneel down in front of the statue of Altus here.
Rakaw has spent a few minutes looking up at the statue of Ardea, thinking over essentially the last bit of time where second time in 2 days he was on the cusp of death. And he is going to turn over to Nyril and say, Nyril, would you mind if I held the sword for just a little bit?
see why not. And Nyril will come around and hand it over to him, properly in scabbard and all that.
Rakaw will plop down on the ground and lay the blade flat, still in the scabbard, but he'll sit cross-legged and the blade will be sitting on his bird legs, and he will open it up just a little bit so that he can see the actual blade and not just the hilt and scabbard, and he will lightly rest a wing on the actual blade and look up at Ardea, or the statue thereof, and he will quietly pray. Dawn Mother, I know what it means to be struck down, but not by this sword. What does it do? Does it immolate our very being? Is that the punishment for being turned against this weapon? That seems terrible. As the great giver of life, I ask for any knowledge of what this does that you can offer me. And he will kind of meditate for a little bit, see if anything comes to him.
All right. So you have offered up your plea to Ardea, the Dawn Mother, and silence greets you. For a time, you think that, well, that's just how it's going to be. This is one that you've been left on your own to figure out. And then your eyes close and you feel a change in the air around you. No longer the musty air inside a long dead tree, but a gentle breeze with the scent of the sea and something sweet. You open your eyes and you see a long silver beach with crashing waves and the light of dawn at the horizon. At your back, a forbidding black woodland, full of shadow. And there in the surf, striding toward you, is a figure of a bird. A crow wearing robes. One you realize you recognize, you haven't seen in years. The figure of your teacher, Elder Sage Ra Guro Nonza Den. She strides toward you confidently through the shallow surf, a smile gracing her beak.
I will, in a sort of subconscious habit, quickly check my robes to make sure that they're neat and proper. And assuming that it doesn't look too worn, bloodstained, or devastated, I will offer a respectful bow.
She nods back and says, "It is good to see you once again, young Caw. Oh, my apologies. In my absence, you have attained the rank of sage. I should call you Rakaw."
Well, between the two of us, you don't need to stand on ceremony on my account. This is new. To me, anyway. Where am I?
You are on the near side of the farthest shore. The greatest adventure that awaits all of us. I have gone on for some time, but thought I might linger near the shore, just in case an old friend or an old pupil came rattling by in need of some counsel.
Ah,
I understand you are in quite a pickle.
oh, you could say that. We've, wow, a bit of a quest, trying to stop a warlord. Had to do it. We had to go find the Sword of Gaspard, which, ah, did anybody, have you ever done any adventuring? This stuff is dangerous. I
I
mean,
know.
I read books and I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. And to be fair, it has been. My companions are great when they don't club me upside the head. But the rest, whew, there's work there. I don't regret it.
I will confess, in my younger days, I did a little bit of this sort of thing, perhaps not as in desperate circumstances as you find yourself now, but it is a good cause that you have found for yourself, a cause for the light of life against the forces of darkness, cause
About
you should
that.
not be ashamed of.
Oh, I don't think I'm ashamed of the cause. No, no, that's not it at all. I'm worried. I I have only barely become acquainted with the Sword of Gaspard. I don't know what it does, but the foe that we mean to use it against was at one time apparently a great defender of good and light and protector of people who needed it. I guess my fear is that if we strike him down with it, he will just end. And none of what he ever did that was positive in the world will be of any grace. I don't want to do that. Not if there's some other way. But I don't see one.
This bramble is a vexing thing. It is an affront to the great rhythm that keeps us all bound in the cycles of birth and life, night and day, yes, and even death. Lorik Thornheart has been kept from his natural rest. Cannot say what has happened to his spirit in the meantime, but I do know that there is no weapon fashioned in the firmaments above or on the earth below that can undo the immortal spirit. Compared to that, even the bramble itself is but a seasonal weed.
Well, that provides some comfort.
If there is any good left in him, the Sword of Gaspard will not drive it out. It may only cut away that which hinders it, like cutting off a necrotic limb.
Oh, that reminds me of that one time in Sage Ranudo's uh, botany class. Uh, poor,
Oh,
she clipped her feathers. Oh,
I remember that well. Oh, it took her months to grow it back.
gotta be careful when you cut things.
That you do, especially with something as sharp as that.
Yes.
Well,
Uh,
I am
I go ahead.
no expert in this sword. I did speak to someone over here who knows something about it, a young lady named Trill. She could not share too many details. Delightful young girl. But
Yes. Yes, she is. I have much to thank her for. Frog in my throat.
oh, well. Be sure you're drinking your fluids.
Yes, Elder Sage.
What she told me is that the sword, it isn't just a weapon for one person to wield. It strengthens a band of companions who wish to quest together against great forces of darkness. It undoes the bindings that protect such evil and helps to strengthen their resolve. And if one should fall, another can take it up to continue the fight. Even you, Rakar, could wield it if it fell to you.
I hope never to have to. If we find that situation before us, things are grave indeed. But sacrifice is what it is. We cannot turn away from where the need lies, not without losing some part of us. I won't do that. So, if it comes down to it, I will wield the sword, but I will do everything in my power to support those with a stronger arm and firmer grip than myself.
You have learned your lessons well, young Cor. Go. Save this land. Protect your friends. And finish that book you've been writing. I'm so looking forward to reading it.
Oh, I've been putting so much effort. You know, writing while adventuring, that's a lot of work too. I swear, I've had to work out entirely new ways of shorthand just to make sure it was legible in case I died. So many things to think about. But none of it would have been possible without your graceful teaching. Thank you for everything you have ever given me. And Rakal will break decorum and just give her a big ol' hug.
Oh my. She reaches her wings around like she's not quite sure what to do with them, but she does her best.
Burb hug.
Well, I have passed on what was graced to me. Thank you for carrying it on and ensuring there will be generations to hear it from their own elders. Good luck, Rakar.
Thank you, Raden. And if you see Trill, tell her next time, turn the fireball down just a notch or two. She'll know what it means.
I'll let her know. And then you feel the breeze sweep some spray into your face. You close your eyes reflexively, and then the air has changed again. You are back in the shrine of the Amaranthine, of the tree, and you have also attuned to the Sword of Gaspard. And I'm sending you the details on it.
This is so easy, anybody can do it. Okay. I'll, as he comes to, Rakal will nod to himself and slide it closed. Look up at the statue of Ardea and say, "Thank you, Dawn Mother." And He'll take the sword back over to Nyril and say, I've learned what I needed to know. Thank you.
I hope that it was what you needed in the way I got what I needed.
Raka will reach out a feathered wing and pat Nyril on the shoulder. Just nod.
Get some rest. The sooner we're out, the sooner we're up.
Agreed. Good night, Nyril.
Good night.
Raka will go back over to the statue and settle in beside it. Gonna use it as a pillow.
All right. Anything else before the party settles in for the night?
Other than strapping on his old breastplate, nope, Nyril's just gonna bed down as best he can.
All right. Lay out your bedrolls. Fortunately, the tree is mostly silent. You don't have the bird song and, well, or insect song that normally would fill the canopy.
And then the
An eerie
17-year
wind.
cicadas awake. No!
Yeah, they're the size of elephants.
Ooh.
Yeah, eerie wind moaning through the openings to the shrine. The sun begins sinking toward the western horizon. Shadows deepen. And everyone's breath evens out as they fall into a welcome sleep.
As everyone starts to kind of nod off, Theron's kind of he's relaxed back on his bedroll, but he's been doing the breathing exercises that he's just been trained to do to kind of gather strength and recover energy and ki and all that good stuff. And he's just going to take a look around and look at all his companions one more time and just kind of take in the situation and where we're at. And it seems like everyone's probably good and asleep now.
Make a perception check. Mine's a little distracted, but
Yeah.
seems like they're all asleep.
After a little while, he's going to get up and roll his bedroll up and tuck it back into his stuff and kind of start putting all his things together. And he's going to get up and take the flamberge, off in its scabbard, but off his belt, and kind of hold on to it and walk down. And he's going to kind of kneel down next to Nyril, who he seemed like he's sleeping. He's going to set the flamberge down on the floor, reach over and pull the Sword of Gaspard out of the scabbard on. Or if it's in the scabbard and off his belt, he's just going to pick the sword up, but he's going to take the Sword of Gaspard.
Oh boy.
Is it on your belt or is it on beside you?
It's beside him.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll pick it up and fasten it onto his belt and throw his bag over his shoulder. And he's going to head for the door.
Okay.
Stealthily, I might add.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Oh boy.
All right.
Scouts don't sleep very heavily, sir.
So, you let's see, Keela, what is your passive perception?
It is. Let's see here. 16.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, with sleeping, it would be at disadvantage, which brings it down by 5, which is 11, which is
11.
still. You wake up. And you hear motion at the outside of the at the doorway, and you look up and you see Theron silhouetted against the deepening night sky with a very familiar looking sword at his belt.
Hmm. Pretty sure. Although groggy and obviously hurting. Sleeping off injuries on a bed is not the best, but hey, Keela's used to not sleeping in a bed, I think. She's probably going to move as very quickly as possible to get in the doorway in front of him.
All right. So, Theron, you're trying to make your way stealthily and speedily when this little shadow flashes in front of you, and there's a pair of wings spread out, blocking your escape.
She doesn't say anything, she just looks up at him.
And Theron avoids eye contact. He's looking everywhere but at Keela right now. Go back to sleep. It's okay.
On your life. I know where you're going. I know why you're going. If you think I'm letting you go on your own, you're ridiculous.
You're in no shape to travel right now. You need your rest. I can keep going. I've trained to keep going.
Yeah, so have I.
Not like I have.
We'll take a bet on that. Won't ask your dad when we
Keela,
both show up to save him.
when they wake up, they're going to need your help. You're going to have to get them to Maple Crest.
Nyril can do it. You ain't going on your own.
You know good and well he can't.
Think you underestimate him.
Maybe.
You ain't going anywhere, and you ain't going with the sword, unless someone's going with you. I know he's your dad, but he's also a commander of the Ember Watch. That's my people. It's my family as much as it's yours. I ain't abandoned him, man. Not for anything. We already lost one.
How bad off is Keela looking right now?
Pretty dang bad. She's not lying about having healing potions, so.
Keela, you're almost dead.
Yeah. Well, ain't the first time.
Oh. There's no way we can make it. Not in the time that we need to wait.
I know. Well, I was the one who's saying we shouldn't. You three said we should stay here.
I didn't say that I should.
Well,
Being with you three these past God, it seems like forever now. It's only been a few days. You know, I was never a brother to my sister or my brother. I was never much of a kid to my parents, to be honest with you. Just being with this new family now that you all have given me makes me realize how much I've squandered with my own. I've got to make this right somehow.
No. Trust me, I know.
If I can get down there, buy us some time, weaken him something, I could give you and the others time to rest and let you come in behind and take him down for good.
What part of no? It's only 2 letters. Oh, and you know this ain't how it's gonna go. You look out that door. You're gonna have a shadow. It's a little falcon shape the whole way back.
Do you see any way we can do this?
I'm surprised you've gotten this far, to be perfectly honest. But remember, God, we don't abandon anyone. Not if we can help it. Not if we got breath in our lungs. And, yeah, I ain't feeling real great. But I ain't dead. Not by a long shot.
Okay. We'll rest. We'll go. We'll do it. We'll do it smart. And it'll work. It will have to work.
Yeah, it's... Well, that's it. It's either gonna or it's not. We've come too far to just start playing crazy bets right now.
I'll be perfectly honest. And he gestures to the Sword of Gaspard. After what I saw in the Hall of Mirrors, this thing does terrify me. So I wasn't looking
You're the
forward
one
to
holding
lugging it. I wasn't looking forward to lugging it all the way there.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I ain't touched it yet. Nyrel's got his visions, and I don't know what Cross saw, but I don't really want to.
You know, I picked it up and I saw nothing, and I'm almost relieved.
Well, you know, I think the both of us got some big expectations on us.
No.
We're gonna make up to them, or, well,
I guess at some point I'm supposed to live up to silver. Crap.
yeah, well. You think I like walking into towns and having people whisper about me?
I don't know. I mean, free drinks sometimes, at least.
Yeah, it's got its perks.
Okay. Let's get some rest.
Yeah.
He's gonna walk back over and take the flambears back up and set the Sword of Gaspard back down like he never touched it.
Keyless just gonna like stretch out as best as the little tiny bird body can in the doorway. Kind of twiddle her little like pin feathers, looking at him in the dark.
Quick question. technically Rakaw's passive perception is 14. Would he have woken up too, or no?
So your passive perception dropped to 9 because you're asleep.
Yeah.
So he just he just matched it.
hmm
So
I didn't know. I knew it was a tie. I
Hmm.
didn't know if tie meant he would wake up or not.
yeah, it's a little ambiguous. I think.
Yeah.
I may need to look it up, but that's how I see it. It's like it's the DC you need to beat
Yeah.
or match.
He certainly
All right.
wouldn't have interrupted anything, but
Yeah.
he's asleep officially. So
Nairo's
Okay.
passive perception is a 10, so it was dropped to 5. So he is now lightly snoring and dreaming about all kinds of things.
Yep.
He is out.
All right.
Theron will just set his bedroll up right next to the foot of where Keela's sleeping at. So she knows he won't try any funny business.
That's right.
Doesn't want to keep her up worrying about him all night. And he'll go back. He'll go to sleep begrudgingly.
All right.
Here I was expecting her to let him out the door, then Sandman him in the back of the head.
Yeah, it was going to be the next move. To be perfectly honest.
Oh, that thing is so much better off in her hands than Nairo's.
All right. So you all drift back to sleep. You find some much needed rest, and you all complete a long rest.
Yes.
Yay!
Spells.
Oh, that's going to feel so good.
Give me the spell slots.
Oh,
Yay.
abilities. I have abilities again.
I just have health again.
And health.
I'm like, yes. Not dead.
Oh, all those spells. They're back, baby.
All right. So I'm going to say Nyral's the first to wake up. You have been used to this, you're used to a certain rhythm being on the road and making sure you're not sleeping too long so that the perch guard can catch up to your position. You wake, you look outside, it is very dark. You're not sure exactly what time of night, but it feels like it's not quite midnight.
Is there any way to see the moon if he goes out onto the ledge?
Sure. Go ahead and
Actually, I think.
let's see. Make a nature check if you walk out on the ledge and look up at the sky.
Okay. He's going to go out the other ledge as not to have to trip over people because he sees they're in the
Sure.
doorway. So nature check. Oh, that's going to be brilliant. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, you really can't tell. Kind of cloudy, occluding some of the stars. It's difficult to make a judgment. You feel like it's probably somewhere around midnight. Which is, would have been 8 hours.
Guess we get to move on. He's going to come back in and look down and notice the sword isn't quite how he laid it, but he just presumes he bumps it. He bumped it when he was asleep. He probably rolled over and hit it or something. So he's going to take the Sword of Gaspard back up and attach it to his belt while strapping his cutlass, or excuse me, Derwin's old cutlass to his bag because he's not giving that up. And look at the others asleep. He's going to take a quick moment to turn back to the shrine of Gaspard and kind of, one paw on the hilt of the sword, and the other one he's just going to reach out and touch it. He goes, so I hope you're not asleep too, but, you and I didn't have the best relationship, and I ain't never done asked you anything. But you're supposed to be the guardian of the weak, and then what's up against impossible odds? That's the four of us right now. We got your sword, but anything else you could do to, I don't know, make sure we can get there alive? That'd be right appreciated. So, what if you can do? Trust you. I'm going to go wake him. We got to get a move on. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
And
Well, that's enough to earn you the Blessing of Gaspard.
woohoo.
So, any ones you roll, you can re-roll for the next 24 hours. I'm not hearing you right now.
Oh, there we go. Accidentally bumped the button as I was trying to move the stream deck. Those are going to come in handy, in my rolls.
And now you're going to get all twos.
Oh, no. Oh, well.
Right. Speaking as a former halfling player, I know what that's like. All right. So,
All right.
So, Nyril rouses the rest of you.
Yep. Wait, come on. We got to get down this tree in the dark. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of fun. Darren, I think you're the only one of us that can actually see out there.
Oh, it is dark. Feel like it should be morning. He's gonna just kind of look over real quick and at the statue of Altus and go, "Here we go, grouchy old Strig."
Yeah. And the rest of you, your blessings are still active.
Okay.
Since I half used mine, did I get a refresh the night before or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, let you refresh. Top that up. Hashtag blessed.
Boo. That's going to get a sad trombone.
And also, before we go out there, and just gonna cut a little, quick little glance over to Keela and give her the Ember Guard salute before he goes out.
Just kind of nods approvingly.
All right.
We go.
Heading down the way you came up.
I think so.
Yep.
Nyril.
Unless someone knows a faster way that doesn't involve splat.
Was it faster
Keela
way
and
for...
Rakah just go gliding.
Yeah, bye.
How high up are we?
I think this is about 375 feet.
Let's see, 38d6 average roll. Yeah, we better go down a little bit.
I'm gonna have to go down a right long way. So
All right.
Nyril will strike up a torch so we can at least see as we descend to the tree.
Okay. You make your way down through the all the challenges that you made your way up. Fortunately, the resistance is a lot lighter. And you've discovered the key to making the maze go where you want to if you jab the walls with a torch. So that makes your way through that section a lot easier. You make the perilous climb down the side of the tree and then end up all the way back to the base of the tree and the acid moat that you crossed.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Are we meant to be on the acid moat landscape, or
I'll go ahead and put you there for
okay? I mean, you don't
easy
have to. I
reference.
was just trying to
Yeah.
clear up if you were switching or not.
Yeah.
Just making sure it's set up properly. So yeah, you're right now. The ledge you're on is 40 feet up from the ground level. These roots are also pretty they're huge. So they're like here at the base of the coast, they're about 10 feet up from ground level.
Yeah. It's about 40 feet up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keela is going to go in her backpack and grab out the rope that she has, the 50 feet of rope,
Mm-hmm.
hand Nyril one end. Secure this, won't you? And take the other and.
All right. So you've got
Actually,
a
let's get down.
got a rope arranged so you can safely climb down to the ground.
Alrighty. I think Nyrel's gonna take it and head on down.
Darren will let Rakah go first.
I'll just jump and glide.
You can do that.
Darren will grab the rope and slide down.
Yep.
Whee!
Not into the water, please.
And Nyrel's looking at the water for any more of those slime monster things, just in case.
Sure. Perception check with disadvantage. Because it is dark.
I do have a torch.
Well, you got bright light for a little bit.
Is it Alt or is it Control?
It's control. Oh, hang on.
There's a chip.
Oh, it didn't do it quite right, so
That's okay.
there you go.
All
Should
right.
be 13.
You look around, and there's every now and then a little ripple in the water. But nothing that sounds very close to you. Based on your trip in, you don't imagine there's much living in here other than slimes. So the ripples are off in this direction.
I'd say as long as it's still, we should make a expeditious crossing. He's gonna
I agree.
climb up onto the root here and carefully make his way on down.
Mm-hmm.
And just gotta judge that distance again here.
Boop.
Yep.
I don't judge distances. Just
Yeah.
boop.
So
Keela, it's very easy.
before jumping, he is going to throw the torch to the other side so you can see where he's attempting to land.
Mm-hmm.
And use the Gerbine long jump to go whee.
Yep, you can make it.
And then clear out of the way so others can come over and take the torch up again.
I assume a jump and glide will work here too.
Yes, because it's the root is a little higher than the ground you're trying to get to.
Herb jumps.
Darren will dig his claws in and take a deep breath and hit a step of the wind.
Okay.
And just get a hard running start and just dig in and leap to try to get as close as he can to the other side.
All right. With Step of the Wind, I think you are able to make it without any problem.
I think Step of the Wind gets me to 20 feet.
Okay. Well, let's make an acrobatics check. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Now,
What
Come
if
down and
muddy plunk.
all right.
What-
You're coming down just a little short. What are you going to do, Nyril?
he's going to try to reach out and grab him to just pull him. You use some of that momentum and see if you can just yank him in.
All right. Make an athletics check.
And Darren's going to be trying to, get his hand and get help as well.
Jeez. Not good.
Oh, all right.
You both fall in.
And I'm good at those.
Okay. So yeah, it's not the most graceful. There is a definite plunk, and as Theron's feet go down into the shallows, but you manage to pull him forward so that he's not going to sink in. The ground underneath is very, very squidgy, and
Squidgy.
yeah,
Good
very
word.
muddy. And you feel it sort of cloud up around you and almost begin to grab at your feet. Can you roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
These dice today.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy,
Oh
this session's gonna go real well.
no. Oh
You
yeah.
take three acid damage from the acidic water, but
Ooh.
you are able to scramble your way out of it. Your
Oh,
feet are looking a little bleached.
hopefully, I'm putting a down payment on all those 20s I'm going to get on Lorik.
All right.
But you've made it to the other side. You do hear a bit of rippling coming toward you with that disturbance of the water.
Time to go.
I
No arguments here.
Okay. So let's travel by map.
Yay.
And I have finally given you a marker to show where you are. You're over here by the Withered Elm.
Yay.
So you've got about 3 to 4 miles to go to make. Well, first of all, which way are you going?
Are we really going through the ruins?
I think we have to get the last ingredient in the.
Crap.
I mean, not just that, but it is literally the shortest distance to Maple
Yeah.
Crest.
That's actually true. That's straight line, I suppose.
Yep.
All right.
Straight line filled with angry things. Let's go.
Don't worry, Kayla. I've calculated the distance. This is the shortest route.
All right.
Those route is the
Yes.
most dangerous.
So as we are back on the road, I would like one of you to be the foreguard, one of you to be the rear guard, and each make a perception check.
Is it still dark?
It is
Yeah,
still dark, yes.
I think we should switch up our locations. I think you should take 4 and I'll take back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Usually we do it the
other
other way
thing-
around, but you see better.
Yeah. And actually, another thing is we need to figure out what way you're traveling. First of all, are you carrying torches? Secondly, are you trying to be stealthy or are you trying to go full pace?
If we're going into Alchemy, I would say snuff that torch and let's try and be as unnoticeable as possible. I mean, maybe not full stealth mode, but
Well, you've got some miles to cover before you get there. So we can
Oh.
talk about your approach into Alkheim, but
I'd still say get rid of that torch because they're gonna see it
Yeah, if Theron
miles off.
can see well enough to lead the way, Nyril will put the torch out, and I will be putting the cat down because he's just constantly going in front of me.
Aw,
we
but
go.
he's happy.
doing circuits.
Yep.
Aw.
He kept trying to drink out of my water glass. She knows is not for him.
Oh.
Silly baby shots.
All right, so let's have perception checks from our lookouts.
Hey.
With
Aw.
disadvantage on mine?
Hey.
Or
Can I just keep that roll?
Yeah, let's just. Yeah, Akila, I'm afraid, is definitely rolling at disadvantage. because
oh
he's
my
out of dark magic.
lord!
Oh,
my.
no.
Look
I
at
have to roll
this!
again?
It's crazy.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
guess my disadvantage
Oh,
doesn't
wow.
matter.
Yeah. All right.
Improved
that
with
man.
disadvantage.
Aaron's doing his best, but he's still very preoccupied. And who can blame him?
Yeah.
Best wasn't good enough.
So, Keela, as you are. This isn't the first time you've had to move through deep forest at night, even though you certainly haven't been in as hostile conditions as this. You remember on the trip from the Northwatch ruins to the Withered Elm as you traveled with Asterith at your side, there were many times you saw or heard signs of predators moving around you. They were steering clear because you had the apex predator with
They
you.
had her. Oh no.
You notice the sound of footsteps shadowing you, not getting too close at this point, but definitely keeping pace. And as you listen, you are actually reminded of when you and Rakah first arrived in Embershire, and a giant centipede crossed your path,
Oh, that's
and you
right.
managed to keep Rakah from stepping his foot in it.
Hmm.
There are two of them, and they sound a whole lot bigger.
Oh, lovely. Lots of little shuffly feet, but not so little.
Yep. Shuffly feet that
Oh,
sound like they're probably about the same size as yours.
oh God.
That ain't good.
Yeah, Keela's definitely going to whisper loud enough. I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty quiet out anyway, but
It is.
loud enough that all three others can hear and are being followed. Don't panic, but it's not friendly. And there's definitely more than one.
Can you tell what side they're on? Right, both.
Both.
One on each. And sounds like, well, got far more limbs than we do.
Right.
Yep.
Um, hmm.
So,
Nyral's
we
going
are
to
going to
move
be
his shield
entering.
down to his arm, getting
Okay.
it ready.
Yeah. We are entering right now a skill challenge.
Okay.
You are being stalked by a pair of enormous centipedes. You can make. What I'm going to do is you're going to be able to take turns in any order, making skill checks to try to help you escape them.
Okay.
So just tell me what you're trying to do with what you have. You could use an item, or you can use a spell, or one of your abilities, or you can do something that seems like it would make sense. I'll figure out what the appropriate skill would be, and then we'll roll to see if you succeed. You want to get 5 successes before you have 3 failures.
Okay. Where's my
Well,
list of weird potions that I got that we don't know what they are?
I think
Uh,
if Rakah is aware that they're stalking him, what he might do would be to use one of the effects of thaumaturgy, um, and basically cause ground tremors in a location that's like kind of off to the side to maybe fool them into thinking we're not where we are.
Okay.
I
Go
like
ahead
that.
and roll. Let's make this a spell attack roll.
Okay. Um, guess I'll just click my Ray of Frost if you don't object.
That's fine. All right.
Hey.
You
Nice.
you mutter the incantation as quietly as you can, and it is echoed by a sudden rumble in the ground. Some distance off, you actually hear a sudden flurrying of legs as the centipedes dart away. Tremors are not unknown in this region, but they gather themselves and get back on your trail. That was a success. You have put some distance between you and them, and they're sort of scurrying to try to catch up again.
And in the general direction of where they were, there is the silhouette of a very satisfied looking goose.
All right, one success. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vulpin are quite the predators themselves. and have some racial abilities that support that. One of which being Bewitching Guile, which is fear. So as they're going, and Theron can kind of hear these things starting to try to push up and get closer to us. He's actually going to fall back and turn, and it's going to start as like a low growl in his chest. It's going to work its way out and just kind of. I can't do a good growl.
Okay.
And the his hackles are going to stand up, and he's going to make himself look a little bigger, and claws are going to come out, but these things know they're not the only predators lurking around in the night.
I like it. So they're going to make a wisdom save against your DC. It looks like it's
11.
11. Okay. So you growl back, and in that moment you see a little bit of moonlight glinting off the carapace of one of these things, and it clacks its big poisonous mandibles and picks up its pace. That is a failure.
I am not the predator I thought I was.
Oh dear.
Tarfang, would you settle, please?
Sometimes the best
Well-
way to get away from something is just to sneak away. Less noise is better noise. And like Nyral's gonna fall back on a lot of what he learned being a bandit since being a kid, and trying to move as silently yet as swiftly through the undergrowth as he can, just trying to stealth his way out of there.
Sure, go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Oh, thank goodness, a decent roll. Oh, oh man.
All right. You use some of that bandit canning to
Bandit
canning, not
canning.
canning. Yes, bandit canning. Get your fresh canned bandits today.
Well then.
To chart a course through the dark, shadowy woodlands, and you manage to see one of those streams running through. You hop over carefully to make sure that, just in case it's also a bit acidic, but the running water seems to be enough to break up your scent for a little bit. As you pull away, the two centipedes pause at the water's edge. They wave their antennae around, trying to pick up on your trail again. And by the time they have fallen behind. That's another success.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
So, just so you know, if you choose to repeat the same kind of challenge, the same kind of skill, the DC increases.
Uh-huh.
So, don't think this is the first time Keela's dealt with things that are hungry that are trying to eat small birds. So, as much as she would love to fire off a bolt at one of these things, seeing in the dark is kind of difficult. However, leaving behind rations for them to find and possibly slow them down, giving us time to get away, on the other hand, that might work. So, just going to
Okay.
leave out. She's 10 rations. She's actually going to leave out 4. 2 for
Okay.
each of those creatures.
I will say make an animal handling check with advantage.
Okay. Animal. Oh, jeez. +0. This will be fun. Well, here we go.
All right.
Like a 17.
Nice.
That was a great idea. That's why I gave you advantage on it.
Yay.
Yeah, you know your bugs, and you managed to leave out some bits that had just started to go moldy, just the way they like it. And a little ways after you've left your little care package, you hear some rustling as they begin tearing into it and making short work of the meal. I'm going to say that was so good it counts as 2 successes.
Ooh, cool.
Nice.
So are we at? Do we still need one more success?
Yep. 4
Okay.
successes, 1 failure.
Yep.
Having just passed not too long ago a little river, Recall will keep an eye out for another such spot of water. And as we pass over it, he will hit it with a ray of frost to try and create a quote unquote difficult terrain patch.
Ooh.
Okay. Because this is a similar thing to what you did last time. The DC is increasing.
Well, spells are what I got.
Yep. Go ahead and make your spell attack.
Okay.
Nice.
Take it.
You leave a little penguin ice skating around on this patch of ice that you've left, and as you surge on ahead past this creek, you hear many, many, many legs slipping.
Oh,
Are they
man.
making the whoop, 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 whoop cartoon slippy sounds?
It's such a sad thing that it's dark. This would be a great thing for us to all see.
And these centipedes just decide, this just isn't worth it. No, actually, so the centipedes do manage to get, loop back away from the ice and find another approach, and you do hear some splashing as they plunge their way across the river. You see the forest beginning to thin out ahead of you. There is a broad clearing of grass, and then you see jagged silhouettes. Some of them look like towers with crumbling stonework between them. You recall seeing the broken down walls of Alchemy, once a very well defended walled city. Now it has been shattered to a shell of its former self. You are out on the grass. It's about about 300 yards to go from the edge of the forest to the city itself. And you are in the open. There is no cover that you can see.
Oh,
Oh boy.
we're here.
Not yet.
I mean, close enough. Not like we're somewhere else.
You do hear the centipedes still browsing their way through the forest behind you.
It's only gonna make him come after us more.
Darren, you see anything ahead there? We clear to make it across?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Well, I see there's no cover. All right, this is your last chance, D&D Beyond dice. Well, there we go.
Oh,
That's all I needed to
jeez.
hear.
Oh, man.
Wow. All right. I think from here on out, Theron's dice will be real rather than virtual.
Yep.
But,
Yep. There they are.
all right. Up to you. But yeah, you can't see anything. Grass is nodding a little bit in the breeze. But it looks like the coast is clear.
I don't see anything.
Well, in case there is something, we might as well make it across as quick as possible, and whatever's chasing us can get whatever might be there instead.
Well,
That sounded a lot smarter in my head.
We knew what you meant. And I agree. Let's book it. Ha!
yeah.
Book it! Ha!
I don't.
Run.
Why would we?
All right.
What?
Run. Question him later.
Okay.
You rush out into the grassland, and it is dry and parched, short grass. The ground seems to be level and even. You won't notice any problems as you head out. The two centipedes break out through the forest cover. They lift their antennae and are scenting out into the air. If you happen to glance behind you, you see them
Oh, yeah.
definitely looking straight toward you. They see you, but they loop back on themselves and rush back into the forest.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
Better than
Are the
them.
centipedes still following?
No, they went back the other way.
That's good, right?
They kind of ran back the other way.
Wait.
They had us.
Does that mean...
That means we're probably right. Well,
We're probably
this ain't gonna be good.
you're heading towards the danger.
Well, we knew it wasn't gonna be fun.
Are you telling me there's a bigger fish?
Am I going straight into its mouth?
Fish, boxfish. We're in the middle of a bloody grassland. Of course, there's no fish. Especially no bigger one. What is with you?
The ruined wall tops are looming higher above you as you get closer. And probably not quite that high, but
I'm like, wow.
as you draw near, you do see a figure
Oh no.
walking out in your direction.
Oh no.
Small, maybe barely Keela's height. Carrying something. Not moving hurriedly. Do you keep going?
I think we should, well, I know Keela's gonna kind of slow a little bit and be like, oh god, what are we walking towards?
Darren's gonna put on the brakes and kind of
Yeah.
get a little lower.
As we all come to a stop, Raka is going to turn to Nyril and say, okay, there are things called metaphors. They're just comparisons. That's what we're doing, okay?
I know that, but they don't make sense.
You just need the appropriate context. We'll talk later.
Special to both of ya!
You find a little hollow where you can be out of most sight lines and peer over the top. You see what looks like a young Strigg girl, maybe 8, 9 years old. Appears to be carrying a bucket out to a broken down, low wall, circular wall of stones, which you realize looks like a well. And then the girl lifts the bucket over the edge of the well and drops it with a thunk onto hard ground. There is no hole there, no water to be found. After a few moments, she reaches and picks up the bucket, lays it on the ground next to the well, reaches, takes another bucket, also drops it in, thunk, lifts it out, places it next to the other bucket, lifts them both, and now you can see the buckets are very decayed. They have no bottoms. Some of the slats are missing. The handle is barely hanging on. And as you get a better look at this girl, you see she is also very decayed. There are large pieces missing of her from her shoulder and the side of her head that have been filled in with plant matter.
Worse.
She picks up her buckets and slowly begins walking back toward the gate of Alchemy that she came out of.
Going through the motions. Lovely.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad we just slept, because I really didn't want to see that in my nightmares.
I feel sorry for her.
It's like she didn't even really know what she was doing. Just weird.
Well,
Maybe once we take down Lorik and break whatever curse this is, she'll be free.
But the whole city, they can all find peace then.
Yep, but meantime, we've got another problem. If she saw us, I'm pretty sure she'd alert the others. And that means if she's still here, likely an entire city worth still here. And that's going to make it hard to get to the cathedral.
Well,
Or next to it.
we'll just
I actually have to go in.
go in. Oh, no. Well, let's get in. Try and be as unobtrusive as possible and, well, get what we need and get out. Be on our way.
may I ask a quick question about the light globe that I found earlier?
Yes.
Is
And
it? Does it
Pardon,
have
we
a?
are having some technical difficulties with Nomad right now. We're going to break soon, but let's go ahead with your question.
Does it have a dimmer switch?
Nope, not that you know of. It's 20 feet of bright light, 20 feet of dim light, but you can extinguish it and light it as an action either way.
Okay. Wish I had something to cover it with so that we could like direct it, make it at least less obtrusive. Anywho, Recall remembers the map that he made, so he'll go over how we might approach during our break.
Sure. Okay, so you are going over your notes, gathering yourselves for what may be a harrowing visit to the ruined city of Alkheim. And that's where we are going to break. Come back in about 10 minutes.
And we're back.
All right.
Attic.
So you have found some rest at the top of the withered elm, made your way down, and evaded a couple predatory centipedes. Find yourselves on the outskirts of the ruined city of Alkheim. You were greeted by a young Strigg girl who seems to be not her best self right now. Trying to draw water from a long-defunct well with ruined buckets. You've just watched her disappear back into the gates of a tower that isn't surrounded by any walls. What would you like to do?
What I would like to do is go running screaming to the hills, but you know, what we're actually gonna do, that's something different. Oh, goodness. What are we gonna do, guys?
Ugh.
Go into Zombieland? Because we don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a choice. We need what's in there. I'd say we just try to go as stealthily as possible.
Yeah, that sounds like well, best action.
And I know this is going to be hard to hear, but from what I've heard, nobody's lived here for a long, long time. Meaning, I'm pretty sure these folks are dead. And if it comes down to trying not to do something that feels bad versus saving our lives. We'll have to put some of these folks down if they threaten to give us away.
Honestly, it's probably a mercy at this point.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same.
I would definitely not want to engage in any conflict if we could avoid it, but if we have to, I think we should look at it as freeing them from an unending torment.
Yeah,
That and saving our hides.
win-win. Let's not do any more than we have to, right?
I'm good with that. The less attention we gather, the less of them we have to deal with.
So,
I'm guessing there's no light in the city, really, like normal city lights. There's just there's no torches or anything. Okay.
There is no light, no torches. You can't see anything burning.
Figured as much. Okay.
all right, so Keela, here's what I remember of how the city is laid out. Talk,
Really?
talk, 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 talk.
And in fact, you describe it so well that we can bring you to the map.
Yay!
And
That was some good
Ricard
describing.
described the city into existence.
All right, so this orange banner up at the top is where you are entering the city. You can see the cathedral at the very center. There are some terraced steps leading down to the basin the cathedral is set into, and then other outlying buildings in various sectors around it.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys want to proceed?
Quietly.
Yeah,
All
quietly.
right.
And I think Nyril would suggest that once we get into the actual city area, we hug one side of the street so we don't present as much of a profile for anybody looking down the street.
Contrary to his normal instincts, Raka is going to reach down and look for some, basically dirt and plants that he can kind of smear a little disguise
Ah,
on.
All right.
think you might be on to something there. Gila kind of follows suit, and, caking dirt into feathers.
This is so hard, you have no idea.
I mean,
Oh,
I've
All right.
camouflaged before, but not to try and look like I'm dead.
Yeah, Darren will follow suit as well.
Maybe use a little bit more there, Ricard. I mean, I could help.
You are so bad at helping. Please do not help anything.
Oh, that's fine. I see how it is. Just turn down a generous offer.
All right. So, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go? There's sort of a circle street running around the perimeter. There's a street straight ahead of you, which leads toward the center of the city.
Where did Trill say we need to go?
Well, her lab was west side.
Okay.
West side.
So, yeah, I guess the arrows that are actually being drawn is probably about the route that we would take then. Just kind of hug and head towards the west.
Yep.
Distances are definitely not to scale there.
Yeah. I just figured, just kind of hug that side until we get to this
Sure.
this kind of corner here, and then see what we can see from there.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. As you make your way, everyone give me a stealth check, please.
Oh yeah, I'm so good at these.
Not the best.
Oh boy.
This is going well.
That's a 16 for Theron.
Oh,
Okay.
stealthy boy.
You begin to make your way down the street, trying to stay close to the buildings and hug the shadows as much as possible. There isn't much foot traffic, which of course seems like it would make sense for this time of night. You pass by a few houses that are broken open, and every now and then you see someone sitting on the remains of a stool or puttering around in a non-existent kitchen. None of them take any notice of you, even when at one point uh, oh, that's right. Nyril doesn't have disadvantage because he's wearing a breastplate.
Yep.
Even though
Yay.
every now and then your feet sort of shuffle a little bit on the ashy substrate that's on top of the road. And as you near the center, the center round, you see a different kind of shape patrolling its way around this inner ring road. Quadrupedal, large, with hunched shoulders and a low predatory head. You recognize it as one of the moss wolves that you encountered on the eastern slopes leading up to Stonemoss Abbey. And there's another with it, walking their way along the street, just ambling like with the easy stride of a predator on its home turf.
Things that are actually like patrolling then. Okay. Fun.
I think Nyril would hold position, try not to make any noise or draw any attention, and let them pass and see if it's just that pair or if there might be more coming.
You hang back. They pass, their feet making a soft squishing sound as they pass through the ash. They go by and head on down the street around their circuit. Can I get a perception check from, let's say, Keela and Theron?
Okay.
That's a 19.
All right. Real dice are working out for you.
Yeah.
So you look around, you pick out here and there more moss wolves walking around the streets, and every now and then a needle blight or a vine blight, some of the other creatures you've seen and fought, walking with far more purpose than you're seeing from any of the decaying townspeople that you've passed by. As you are about to step out into the street, there's a hedge with a great deal of moss sticking to his quills, who steps out right in front of you and stops, just staring in your direction, a little uncomfortably close.
He's just staring.
Yep. Stepped out of one of the houses, walked in your direction, and just stopped.
Oh. Think we're blocking him.
Give him room.
Yep.
Like, kind of moves out of his way a little bit.
Move
Yep.
aside, and he
Yeah.
continues on his way, walking down the street toward what looked like it was once an open market.
It's just. They're like puppets pre-programmed to do. I don't know. It's like a big play.
Say them more
Reminds me a
like.
bit of some of the insect trapping plants. When you tickle some of the feelers, and they just automatically close up, regardless of whether there's a bug there or not.
I'd say they're reminding me more like ghosts. Everyone just reliving their last day over and over.
I
Probably
feel
right.
Like torture.
ghosts would have more emotion than these.
I may not have much of a choice.
Well,
Well,
probably
I
best we
just-
don't linger.
Yeah, let's not
agreed.
tempt the wolves with blight.
And with all what's patrolling the streets, would it be wiser to cross where we can and sneak down into that dip, using some of the sides for shelter, or at least cover?
Well, might actually be better to try and cut through these back alleys here, where the houses are.
Unless there's more patrol on the outside edge.
Seems like it.
It's worth a try. Either way, we got to be moving quick.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we will kind of start cutting through that way.
Okay. Make your way through the buildings. Some of them, the walls are gone entirely. You have to take care not to walk right through someone's living room. You make your way through, seeing more of these empty people doing whatever their business is, apparently completely dead to the world around them. As you make it out to the next street, you hear some noise coming from this building right here.
Yep.
As a rhythmic ringing, ting, 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 stops. And then after a few more seconds, ting, ting, keeps following up its rhythm. You see there is what appear to be a set of cellar steps going down underneath the building to some underground space below. And that is where the sound is coming from.
So to be clear, does it sound more like kind of a church bell type sound, or is it more like a blacksmith hammer
thinking-
on
I was thinking
forge?
blacksmith hammer, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a hammer on anvil.
Okay.
Looks like we found the smithy.
Well, let's not be paying him a visit, right?
I think Mitch is muted.
Nope.
Of course I am. Just trying to keep you guys from hearing me sniffle.
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds like somebody's cold forging. Probably use that sound to cover across and over. Just gotta time it right.
Yeah, that's definitely an opportunity.
Sound starts up again. Ting, ting.
Rakaw is going to start counting the beats.
Mm.
All right, let's get ready.
Yeah.
So it's a very consistent rhythm, very consistent length. You figure it's probably about long enough for you to get across.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Ting.
So it starts.
Ding.
Off we go.
Let's go.
Yep.
All right. Stealth checks at advantage, please.
Yeah. Super stink. Sneaky, sneaky.
21.
Okay.
Ooh.
You make your way across, and as you get into the cover of the houses on the other side, you see a trio of moss wolves coming down the path. One of them bats its ear a little bit at the sharp sound of metal on metal, and they just keep on patrolling.
Yay. Alright.
We's technically west of the cathedral now. Wonder which place were hers. Nyrel's gonna
Uh,
look around in the dark, then realizes he has no idea what a sorceress's workshop looks like.
Same. I was gonna say Keela would start looking for something that looks different. At
Think
least.
that way.
You continue on your way through this other block of buildings, and you see just across this smaller side street the house that Rakaw saw from the top of the withered elm, right here, round with on one side what looked like the remains of a tower. And you note that though the walls are not in the greatest of shape, there is a set of double doors in the front of the house that look absolutely pristine.
Hmm.
Why are the doors just immaculate and the rest of it's all ruined? Some sort of magic.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just really expensive carpentry.
Maybe that.
I mean, magic folk like towers, right?
I mean,
Guess.
if I was gonna make a special lab, I'd get some nice doors for it, let me tell you.
Well, it's as good a place to look as any. Let's go.
Cross over to the building itself. As you get closer, you can see the doors are covered in some familiar looking runes that glow faintly as you approach.
Oh, but. I mean, Raquel would remember how we got into the lab in the tree, but the player forgot.
Right?
Well, Theron was just commenting that maybe you needed to know Trill Dawnfeather's mother's maiden name, and as he said the name Trill Dawnfeather, the door opened.
Maiden name. It worked last time.
I mean, Trail Dawnfeather?
The doors open, and you see that the wall immediately across from the door has a huge gaping hole in it that you could have walked through.
Well, let's go in.
Yeah.
Yep.
The interior of this building looks much the same as most of the others you have seen, scoured by fire. There are black marks across the stone foundation. Any flooring that was laid down has been completely eaten away by the ravages of time and the fires of the calamity.
Looks like she blew this place up too.
You can pretty easily pick out the dimensions of a sitting room and a study that still has some very solid looking bookcases intact. And probably where once was a bedroom with a few metal scraps being all that's left of a bed. You don't see anything that looks like an intact lab that would be useful to you. But in the study, there is a raised circle of stone that just a couple inches higher than the foundation, as if it would have been flush with whatever original flooring was there.
was gonna go look at that, see if it's maybe some kind of trap door.
Make an investigation check.
Right. Cool.
It is very difficult to see, both because of the ash and because of how cleverly it's been designed, but there are indeed seams that
Mm.
spiral around the surface of this stone disc that look like they could depress into the shape of a spiral staircase.
Anyone got any ideas how to open it?
Hmm,
I mean,
maybe if we push here and here and
we could just stomp on it. Maybe it'll kick
Quietly.
free.
open
Yeah.
sesame.
I think Nyral's going to step up and place his footpaw on it just to kind of position it right, and then give it a good thump as quietly as he can, but while still delivering some impact. See if you can jar it free.
All right. You make a sleight of foot check.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Yep, here come the twos. All those natural twos.
Makes a big old thump that actually reverberates much more than you were expecting.
That wasn't good.
From a distance, you hear a
Freeze.
We gotta open this thing now. There's no like runes or anything.
You see
Saying
no
Trolled on
runes.
Feather again is not gonna
Yeah.
help.
You see no runes on the staircase. You see a row of very sturdy bookcases in front of you with seem to be the strongest thing in the immediate vicinity.
Are they up against the wall or are they freestanding?
They are up against the opposite wall. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right, we're gonna try to let them do this again. Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been posting stuff about D&D Beyond lately?
I think so.
All right.
You mean that great service that we all love and enjoy?
We love it.
All right.
There's not like any books in the bookshelf, are there?
Keela, go ahead and roll perception.
Okay. Boop.
All right. So there aren't any books. And as you're scanning over the shelves, at first you missed it because of your angle of view, but on top of the very top shelf, there is a little glint of something that looks like brass.
Oh. Keela's gonna kind of point at it because she's short.
Recall will take his staff and see if he can nudge it forward.
All right, you manage to hit it, and it leans forward. It's a lever, and you hear a cracking and scraping sound as these stone steps begin to separate beneath you. And I don't know if any one of you is in the Indiana Jones position to go tumbling down it as it descends, but
I mean, Nyril was just standing on it, trying to kick it loose.
all right. Well, make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Nyril.
Real good. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Hey!
All right. So yeah, you feel the footing shift beneath you, but you manage to catch yourself as this staircase begins unfolding beneath you.
So I'm guessing this is quite loud as well.
It is. You hear
Yeah.
some footsteps padding rapidly toward you.
I was able to kick it free. I'd say everybody down. And he's going to, I think
Go down.
as it started to spread, he kind of jumped and spread his toes to each rim of it, the rim. And then now that it's sunk, he's going to like pop up, feet together, and drop down on the step and, go down as quickly as he can, even though it's
Yep.
probably pitch black down there.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
fine.
very, very dark.
It's fine.
Is there room on the center to drop?
No, the center is a pillar.
Okay.
So the stairs are descending
Like
around this
around.
steady pillar.
All right. Theron will just try to usher everyone down and be right behind them as
All right.
we all go down.
You hurry on down and find yourself in a small foyer that is tiled. There is still a thick layer of dust on the floor beneath you, but at least it doesn't feel like ash. You hear those paw pads scrabbling through the ground, and they are into the house now.
I will look around to see if there are any like unreleased mechanisms
Yeah,
nearby.
Keela's doing the exact same thing.
Sure.
like kind of
Perception checks from
touching the
both of you.
walls. Because I guess it's really dark down there. So.
It is very dark, yes.
Oh.
Okay. You were not able to find anything. You catch a glimpse of a snout poking its way over the edge of the staircase.
In that
peering
case,
down.
Keela's gonna grab her crossbow.
Yep. Plan bears out. Defensive stance at the foot of the steps.
Yep. And hearing Theron draw his sword, Naira will also draw his and say, what are we going to hit?
They come down. We hit them.
You hear some growling and yammering. Some feet that begin to paw at the top steps. But they're not coming down.
Do they not fit?
They could fit.
I don't think they
It
know
would
what
be
steps
tight.
are.
They
But
can fit.
basically- Mhm.
What was that?
It would-
Sorry.
it would be tight.
Protections.
I mean, we need some sort of light here.
Um,
They know we're here. Strike a torch.
Rakah will his staff and activate the glow globe.
All right. Oh, we can actually see what's
Alright.
going on here.
Naira's eyes will now squint because it's much brighter than
Oh yeah,
it has been
that's
for a
a
little
full,
bit.
like.
All right. So you light things up, and you can see that this hallway to the south extends into a wider hallway going in both directions.
Check it out.
Hmm.
Rakah will.
Okay.
What?
Oi, don't leave us in the dark.
Come on. We can. If they come down, we can get them in a choke right here.
All right, let's
Gonna back
go.
away from the steps
All right.
and into the hallway.
So you see on. Oh,
Oh, look at all that.
yep. It's
Secret knowledge.
that part wasn't quite supposed to pop up yet, but you can see that there's some on this side. The hallway splits and opens into two rooms. On the other side, there is a single larger room.
Yeah. Well, it's
With
Big
some
and fast?
stuff.
Yep.
Yep, let's get big in first.
big and fast. All right.
All right. So you move into this larger room, which looks a lot like a study. One moment.
We know what Keela's drawn back. Ooh, shiny.
You see a large desk in the middle with a chair on either side of it and some very badly faded notes on top. These look like they're in worse shape than what you found in the tree. They may or may not be legible. On the there are two very solid bookcases, and there are actually some books that are still intact, still there. A few broken
Okay.
pieces of furniture. And at the apex of this rounded room is something that I really couldn't find an appropriate token for.
A dead
On
mermaid.
a little pedestal, there is a towering skeleton of some creature that looks like some sort of heavy boned predator rearing
Oh.
up on hind legs with massive paws and claws. But its head looks like the head of an owl in monstrous proportions. You also notice at the foot of this skeleton, there are several vines torn to shreds.
No, thank you.
Say none of these vines lasted longer than 6 seconds. Wow, is Vine that dead now that we don't even remember Vine? Oh,
Yep.
dang
Oh,
it.
no, here I was just thinking about you were saying they didn't last a single round of combat. It was just in D&D mode.
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay, sorry. I was
Yep.
going for the
It's very
bad
dead.
joke.
The deep
All
cut.
right. All right.
It's official. I'm a boomer. Me and my Vine.
So
Rakah will be attracted to the books and any
Yeah.
papers or anything that may be of interest.
Sure. Roll an investigation check. Many of the books are in bad shape. You can make out a few titles when you open up the pages. You see that there has been some moisture that has gotten down here somehow
Oh.
and has caused a little rot. You can make out. You can tell that there are various alchemical titles, a few explorations into theoretical magic. You notice there is a series on basically like a series of college textbooks on alchemy and the preparation of potions. And the first few volumes, the very most basic volumes, have been taken out.
We
I'll
got
actually wants to look at some of those vines.
Sure.
See if it's just regular old vines or if we're looking at blighty nastiness.
All right. And you've got light down here. So
Oh,
they
nice.
look pretty much the same color as the moss wolves you just fled.
Okay.
I think
The
Nyril
vine's
is...
dead?
Sorry.
They're not moving.
No, normally.
Vine is very dead, yes.
Yep. Nyril is going to draw the Sword of Gaspard and just kind of like poke this big skeleton just to make sure it's actually dead, because we've seen other things walking around that should be dead.
That's fair.
One of the paws smacks the sword away.
Ooh!
Whoa there.
Head lowers.
Kayla? Might want to move away from that.
Yeah, when it moved, she like saw it in her peripheral and be like, whoop!
Hello.
Hi.
The
Not you.
huge beak
That.
parts.
Ow.
Ooh.
Well, I'm Nyril, and this is Keela.
Ooh.
I'm getting there. That's
The front
Rakah.
feet come down with a crash.
Oh no.
I'll see. That's just not good.
No, it's not.
He's going to look at the others and
It,
go, I'm starting to think that Trildon Feather I think she wrote her own legend, because like nobody would say the good things about her after what we've seen.
Starting to think she's the reason the calamity happened.
I wouldn't put it past her at this point.
The moment you say Trill Dawn Feather, the creature sits down.
Good puppy.
Oh, good boy. Oh, it's
Okay.
just it's a guard animus.
Oh.
Rakal will go over and like give it pets and scritches.
It tilts its skeletal head, and one of the back claws comes up and thumps a little bit.
That's
He likes it. This is really creepy, but this is
That's amazing.
that's really neat, but kind of terrifying.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, what?
Keel's gonna kind of just pat. Like, oh.
Stay.
Good boy.
From the entryway, you hear some snapping and some of the claws on the steps, and the creature, the skeletal creature, suddenly tenses up, looks down the hall, and goes, "Ooh!" and begins to gallop
Yeah, they're no
Whoa.
friends.
over the.
They're no friends. Go get him.
And
Thanks,
you hear
terrifying.
some snapping and yelping, and more combination whoos and roars.
I like it. I want one.
Seems like Trill was romancing some necks, as they say. Neck romancer.
Oh,
Never
I got it.
understood.
So weird.
I didn't want it, but I got it.
So the big question on Keyless mind now, is this a chest?
It is a chest.
Does it look like it's trapped?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That's the important question of the day. Hey.
Hey.
All right.
Good.
It looks like it is not trapped, but it is locked. It looks like the trap just ran out the door.
Yeah. I kind of figured as much. Let's try and open the chest. Why not?
All right.
Oh, go. Yay!
Okay.
Nice.
You work your key, your locks and lock picks in there, and open up the chest, and you see, like several others you've seen, there seem to be some molded recesses meant to hold specific things. It looks like there was a large box that was meant to sit in this chest that has been moved out. So the biggest thing this chest once held is not here,
Okay.
but you do see a couple other smaller boxes.
All right. Well, let's and open them carefully.
All right. One of them, it looks like a jewelry box. You pop it open, you find a very delicate gold ring with a tiny jeweled hummingbird sitting on it.
Interesting.
Nice.
She's gonna hand that off to Raka because she knows that Raka has like the ability to kind of figure out of what things do and if they're magical.
The other one is larger. It's a flatter, sort of like a small pizza box. You pop it open, and inside is a coiled belt that appears to be made of snakeskin. Obsidian black, shiny, but there seems to be a faint orange glow coming from between the scales.
Huh. Kayla kind of laughs as she holds that one up and is like, bet Asterith would have words about this.
Tell you to wear it next time we meet her.
Might have to.
I mean,
You don't think it's her dad, do you? At least part of him.
Part of me says I hope not, but the other part of me goes, I really hope so.
Rakah will take the ring that Keela passed to him and go ahead and appraise it, see if he can figure out what it
Yeah.
does.
Sure. You are in possession of a ring of evasion.
Ooh.
Whoa.
So I will pop that into our chat so all of you can see it.
Hmm.
This is a very useful little tool.
Can I bring this up? This is not going to go
Okay, where's
cleanly
that?
for me.
Mm.
Okay.
I can, however,
So-
bring it up elsewhere.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Rakah will explain what it does, so that
Yeah.
everybody gets the knowledge.
This ring has 3 charges, which it recovers 1d3 charges at dawn. And when you fail a dexterity saving throw while you're wearing this ring, you can expend one of the charges to succeed instead.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
Keela kind of nods towards the belt. Just like, don't suppose you can figure out what this one is?
It's like a ring-necked snake, maybe?
I mean,
Dead, though.
I could look it over. My eyes are a little tired because I had to really peer at this other thing, but maybe I can do some sort of intelligent reasoning to figure out what this is and what it does.
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Cause like
Hey.
casting little prestidigitation sparks, little magic tests, seeing if he can figure it out.
Yep. So you can't use the same kind of appraisal that you just used, but thinking back through the various magic items you've studied that have come through your university, you remember something about belts that are used by certain sects of martial artists that seem to improve their prowess, their connection with their internal energies.
I don't know exactly what this is, but I do think it helps the more dexterous, those with finesse. Theron, you may want to give this a try. See if you can tune to it. It's clearly got some magic elements to it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You'll take it and drill dawn feather.
It does nothing.
I don't think she made that the password for everything. And
I beg to differ.
I mean, sure, you could make it the password for the front door, but your more secure stuff, you've got 2-factor authentication going on. That's just general wizarding security.
Ooh.
I
Hey,
trill
buddy.
dawn
Good
feather.
boy.
Did you kill the evil moss wolves? Did you kill them?
There's definitely some vines that are half torn off and hanging out of its beak.
Oh, let's get you cleaned up, and Rakah will prestidigitate and clean the skeleton beast up.
I'm going to go into my bag
I
and
think
fish
he'd
out.
fit, would he? We couldn't take him with us, could we?
I think it needs to stay here.
Oh.
I have 3 pieces of bacon that I've been saving this whole time, and I am going to try to give him one. It one. It
yeah.
one.
Its mouth opens up.
And I throw the bacon in.
Treat.
Ooh. Seems to be very happy.
I give him more
Yay.
bacon.
Snaps it up, and it's going to go trundle off back
Yeah.
to its perch.
We like that one.
Gets back in its pose.
And then actually Keela's gonna kind of hold up the ring and be like, Nyril? You're the one who's always kind of in front of everything. Maybe this'll help you out.
Well, I'll take it. Wait a minute. Can you wear 2 rings at the same time?
You can,
Okay.
as long as.
Oh, you
Actually,
already
right now-
got a ring. That's right.
Yeah, I have
no
the ring of
for you.
anti-venom.
Yeah,
No ring.
actually, you're not attuned to it right now. You need to do that.
Oh.
You've definitely worn it long enough to be
Oh.
attuned to it.
Okay. I should have been, but I guess I wasn't. Interesting.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt.
I'm gonna put the snake belt on.
I mean,
Okay.
unless you want to recall. I mean, I don't know. I always
That's-
think the one who's taking all the hits.
Well, I think yesterday proved any one of us can take a lot of hits, but I would
Yeah.
rather
So-
Nyril have some form of protection beyond what he's already got. I at least have the ring that came from Trill's tomb, and that will offer me some measure of safety.
That's good.
We find something else that's more fitting for my less delicate style. Be glad to give this up to one of you lot. Now, can we get away from whatever that thing is?
Oh, I like him.
That's our friend now.
It's like
I'll
a
let you be
big-
closer to your friend.
It's like a big. It's so amazing.
Oh, sorry.
It's
that
a
was
living skeleton. That ain't normal.
In case you haven't noticed, we're in the middle of not normal. This is at least friendly.
I know, but we're in the middle of a lot of not normal that wants to kill us. And I don't really want to push my luck with that thing. Just saying.
Suit yourself. Recall will. I know that I investigated earlier. Recall will, I guess, make one more attempt to see if he can spot like anything alchemical or anything of interest, particularly on the desk. If there's any drawers, he'll try to check them out, see if they contain
Sure.
anything of value.
Give me a general intelligence check.
How smart am I?
Indeed. Oh,
Not
pretty
bad.
smart. All right. So, yeah, you look over things. You are able to find some references, some notes that look very similar to what you found in the tree. It seems like most of the notes are actually older than what you've already seen, but you also are aware that generally you want to keep your alchemical supplies away from where you keep your notes.
Maybe we can-
Nyril, you are standing right next to a metal door.
Oh. In that case, he's probably going to... is there a visible handle that he can see?
There is.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's going to look back at the others, look at the door, and just test the handle and see if he can open the door.
It is locked.
It's probably the flammables cabinet.
Of course.
I'm sorry. Actually, my bad. You see that there is a lock on the door that has been forced.
Oh,
That's
Oh.
interesting. In that case, is he able to open the door?
You are.
All right. Somebody's beating us here. Wait, before he does that, though, he wants to look at that lock and see if the damage to it looks fresh or if it looks as aged as everything else in here.
It's difficult to tell. The lock is very old in general. So I'd say give me an investigation check.
Yay, I have a bad score in that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you really can't tell. It doesn't look like, it's not like there's clean, shiny metal where the break is made.
Okay. Well, he's at least going to be suspicious of what might be in here now. So shield in front, he's going to use that to just kind of push the door and make sure it's, at least covering most of his face. You can still see around it a bit, but
Sure.
better safe than sorry.
So you open up into another laboratory room. You don't see any sign of anything living here. There are several desks with various beakers and pots and burner elements. You see another desk with some paper notes and reference books, and also more implements for transferring fluids and other materials. You see a big locker against the floor immediately in front of you that has more vines scattered underneath it. And in the center of this room is a large table with a lot of complicated looking alchemical kit. It looks like it's actually still set up for testing, and it seems to be mostly intact.
All right. He's going to call back the others. Oi, I think I found the magic kitchen.
Kitchen.
I don't know what else to call it. And watch out for those vines. He's going to kind of prod one of the vines with the sword tip to see if it moves or if it's just...
It does not.
Okay, in that case, he's going to just kind of really just keep shoving them out of the way as he enters into the room.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, magic kitchen. It's like for cooking magic.
Recall
think.
will come in. It's called an Alchemy Lab.
And you expected me to know that?
I mean, I'm informing you that's what it is.
Oh, okay. In that case, I found the Alchemy Lab.
In the southern wall of this room, there are several more metal doors with actually have glass windows implanted in them.
Ah.
Oh.
And Keela's going to have to lift herself up to see through.
Yep, definitely.
Recall is going to start going through like the existing supplies and any notes or whatever.
Sure. Make another investigation check, please.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So the notes in here are a little better preserved, and you definitely keep coming across the references to Asphodel, the lily that had been indicated before was a key ingredient. And you see notes specifically relating to Killian Nightshade, the the Perch Guard, the raccoon who had been infected by the bramble, whom Trill was trying to treat, and finding that she seemed to be responding well to Asphodel. It seemed to be limiting the influence of the bramble over her. Also, as you look over this this alchemical apparatus, it reminds you of several that you've used in your own studies, perfect for testing the effects of various potions, tinctures, and poisons.
Oh. Hey, recall. And Keela's gonna actually fish into her stuff and pull out the 4 little unknown potions.
Oh, that's right. You had those. Here,
Yeah.
let me see if I can make heads or tails of them.
Yep.
Start doing some experimentation.
Sure. So there are 4 potions. Let me get them. So one potion is bright blue,
Yep.
and it is
Bubbling.
bubbling. There's another a potion bottle that looks like it's invisible, but I'm sorry, looks like it's empty.
Em-
Yeah,
But
but
it
it's
has
heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could feel something sloshing around inside it as you move it around. There is a very thick, sludgy brown potion that seems to have bits of grass and
Yes.
turf in it. And there's an opaque, sort of purpley liquid that, as you rotate it around, these various bits keep surfacing: a fish scale, a beetle claw, a dragonfly wing. So, which would you like to test?
Um, let's start by testing the fish scale one.
Okay.
It's the purpley one.
You're going to tip out a little bit of that fluid into this apparatus, and just like it's all coming back to you. Your undergrad days in lab, and you turn up light a little flame, turn it up, and get the whole thing percolating and bubbling. I'd like you to roll me an intelligence check, please. All right. So it's going to take you about 5 to 10 minutes, but you're going to have some sort of answer coming out of that. While he's doing that, does anyone else want to do anything?
Yeah, while he's testing stuff, Keela's still trying to peek behind these doors.
Okay, yeah. So
Up and then like flutter.
you get up and you look through the window and you see a mass of what looks like decaying plant matter. The floor and walls in here are also, they look like they're scratched up.
What Trill experimenting on someone? They had the bramble.
Yes, Captain Killian. It's in some of her notes here.
I think I found the captain.
So you did,
Maybe.
and you did actually ask her. You asked her directly, if she had experimented on any person. She did talk about her work with
That's right.
the corporal. She also said that she did infect a few animals
Oh, that's
to
right.
chart the progress of the infection.
That's right. Oh, something's in here.
These
Is
are
in there.
windows too.
Yes, they are. I'll go ahead and,
Uh,
assuming you're looking in both.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's more of the same.
Yeah. Well,
And this
I
is
ain't
a
opening them doors.
this is a locker or something like that.
It is.
I think Nyrel's going to inspect it to make sure it's not trapped somehow,
Sure.
to the best of his knowledge.
Investigation check.
Yeah, I should have let Keela do that.
Well,
Why didn't it go? Come on. It's not triggering.
you're gonna end up having like 4 rolls. I'll pop up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
All
if that
right,
happens,
well,
you get to pick the highest one.
There we
There
go.
it is.
No,
Hey,
it's
they're both
okay.
the same.
They're both
Yeah.
terrible.
You aren't sure, but what you are sure of is that the 2 locks on this locker have also been forced.
Mm,
Whoever came in here was trying to get whatever was in here. And he's just going to take a footpaw and try to kick basically, grab the door and swing it open. Or if it swings sideways, he'll try to put it open that way. If it swings up, just kind of like lift it up.
Yeah, you lift the door, and inside you can see a variety of containers. Most of them earthenware. Some of them have been smashed, and you see what look like the detritus of powdered up leaves or minerals spilling to the inside. You see various labels, and they appear to be alphabetical. You see amaranth and arsenic, and there's one slot for asphodel. and there are no containers in that slot.
Figures.
I don't know what I'm looking at here. One of you lot might need to take a look.
Yeah. Kayla kind of comes over.
Because Nyril cannot read.
Mhm.
What?
He'll at least
That's
hold
a problem.
the lid up.
That's a problem there. The
What's-
asphodel's missing.
So, Rakaw, you are finishing up your process, and you have identified. So you have to. The fluid changes color, and you have to consult a little reference tome that's nearby. But you managed to identify this as a potion of animal friendship.
Well, this is unusual. I don't think I've seen one of these in a while. Huh. Yeah, oh, the fish scales. They should have been a dead giveaway. Oh, this is a potion of animal friendship, of course.
Yeah. Well,
What's that do?
Joe.
Rakaw will use his excellent knowledge of this potion to describe it.
Oh yes. So you can, when you drink this, you can cast the spell Animal Friendship for 1 hour at will with a DC of 13. So it's basically Charm Person, but for animals.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll put that back in my inventory of fun stuff. Although
You
now
want
I
to
actually know it is.
start up another potion?
Sure.
Get them all identified.
I'll work on the. You said there was one that was sludgy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sludge one.
All right. Takes a little time to get some of that to drop down into the test tube, but you manage to get it going, and it starts bubbling up. Go ahead and give me another intelligence check.
See if I know how to operate a distiller.
Okay. Again, it'll take you about 5 minutes.
I know how to operate what comes out of a distillery.
And while he's doing that, Kayla's gonna look some more at what is there. Like, is there any weed killer by chance?
You find 2 vials of vegetoxin.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Check for willow bark.
You don't find willow bark.
Nuts.
Great. Put 2 of those back into my happy inventory.
Nyril's just going to look and see what's even on these shelves over here, if there's anything that looks interesting to him. Because he has no idea what most of this stuff is.
Yeah,
There's no
it's,
asphodel.
you do find a couple bottles of very, very strong distilled alcohol.
Yay, good for Nyril.
He's going to take a sniff and go, oh God, that might even be a bit strong for me. I don't think that's the drinking type.
Hold on to it anyway. We could set some fires.
It's a good idea. He's going to take those.
All right.
I mean, with this stuff, she could make 180 proof.
All right. You finish up your investigations, and comes out the other end, and the fluid begins to expand. You see the glass vial that it drops into breaks apart, and you check the notes, and sure enough, that's a good sign that you have a potion of hill giant strength.
Oh,
Well, lost a
Excellent.
vial, but this'll make you real strong.
excellent. Okay, I'll tuck that one back away. Distribute it later as needed. I got 2 more.
So I believe that can increase your strength to 21 for an hour.
Dang.
Let me see here. Yep. I'm adding them
All
into
right.
my inventory as we go.
Uh-huh. What next?
The one that's not that doesn't look empty.
Okay. A little bit of that blue fizzing
Yeah, the
potion goes
bubbling
in,
one.
Bubbles.
and it goes through the... Go ahead and make me another intelligence check, please. It goes through the whole system, and you see it fluttering through, going through all the tubes, around and around, and down into the fresh test tube that you put in place. Drops in, and then evaporates into a sweet smelling cloud that makes you feel really good, energized, but you're not able to place what it is.
Mm.
Your best guess is that it is going to make you stronger, or make you more adept. It'll help you somehow.
Wow, this page is kind of can't read it. I don't know. There's some bits missing here, and I just can't quite put my finger on what this should be. Well, keep a hold on it, Kayla. Worst case
Yeah.
scenario, we can experiment by doing, but
Gotcha.
I think it'll at least give us some kind of vigor. Maybe not health, but you know.
All right. Well, I'll hang on to it.
Let me see the last one. I'll try to figure that one out too.
Yeah. Might as
All
well.
right. Another
Uh,
intelligence check. All
oh,
right. It goes through, and
Oh.
you can't see anything going through. You guess it's probably doing something, but you have no feedback until the process finishes. You see the test tube at the end jiggle a little bit, and then the test tube disappears.
oh, well,
Nice.
made it invisible. Huh.
What
And I
the-
think you know what that is. That is a potion of invisibility.
Nice.
Who would have guessed?
Oh,
Well,
wow.
um,
That's purple.
I think after he finishes up, Raka is going to neaten the place up, prestidigitation, whatever he can clean,
Mhm.
and go looking through any books or notes or anything that might give a hint as to where we can find some of the missing ingredients.
Sure. Make an investigation check.
Uh, it's already dark. I have to look
All
so
right.
hard. My eyes are strained. Oh God, listen to me. I sound like an old bird.
You can't find anything in any of the notes that seems to indicate where it could have gone. But you do, as you are cleaning up the place, you notice what look like some tracks that have sort of hardened into the dust. Shuffling, scooting tracks, like something that doesn't move very adeptly.
These
And
tracks.
Tracks.
Keela, what do you make of these?
Mm. Kayla's gonna come on over and take a look.
yeah, I'll go ahead and make an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Come on, game. Let me have advantage. There we go.
All right.
Ooh.
So whatever it was had a sort of a lurching gait. Didn't look like it was moving healthily.
Well, I wasn't happy, whatever it was. Maybe there's more evidence outside here.
Guess we can try and follow them, see where
Yeah.
they go.
Can't hurt. I mean, there's still that whole other side to look at.
There is.
Is that the way the tracks go?
The tracks go back. Sorry. The tracks go back toward the stairs.
Mm.
Before we leave the room, I'm just going to quickly scour the ingredient shelf and grab a few odds and ends,
Sure.
just in case they come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, mate. Already nicked the alcohol.
Well,
And do you say this
let's check
area is
the
lit,
rest.
or are we using the light from Rakah's globe thing?
You're using Rakah's light.
Okay.
well, lead on.
I'm checking out the other side of the
Yep.
of the lab. All right.
Yep. And Nyral's going to
Sure.
cast a
Nice.
glance back to make sure the skeleton thing isn't about to rush up and just kill us all.
Nope.
Giant strig vulpus.
All right. So there are
Bears.
2 rooms that look like they could be bedrooms. The beds are a little more better preserved, and a desk in each one. A bookshelf in the room to the north.
Books, you say?
You're taking the light with you. There's something shiny in this one.
Hang on. And Nyral's going to bust out another torch and light it up.
Mhm.
Wait! No, don't do the torch. He'll go in his bag and fish out a bullseye lantern and shine it in there.
Oh.
Okay.
Light it and shine it in there.
Yeah. All right. So recall, you're gravitating toward the books. You notice the books that were missing from the other collection.
Oh.
These are a selection of rudimentary texts on magic and alchemy and biology and horticulture, all kinds of topics. It looks like someone was doing a crash course.
Hmm.
On the desk in front of you, you see what looks like a small notebook. And if you investigate it, it falls open to a page. Many of the pages are worn down like much of what you've seen around here, but you do see what seems to be a diary entry. I'm going to send that to you.
Cool.
On the other side of the room, Keela, you're looking at that chest.
Always.
Of course.
I
All
like
right.
Keela so much.
So what do you want to do?
First things first, make sure it's not
Hey, bud.
trapped.
Okay, investigation check.
Come here.
No, it looks fine to me.
Okay. It is, yeah, it looks absolutely fine. Go ahead and,
Let's go ahead and try and open it.
all right, make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, please.
All
Could
right.
be worse. Could be better.
I want you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh no, those are bad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there it is. Hey.
Mm.
Why not?
There is some sort of magical release that bursts out, and you feel the corners of your mouth stretch back, and then you sneeze. And whatever effect it was seems to have passed.
Oh.
It seems like you were just about to be forced to smile really hard.
You know, she's got a really nasty sense of humor.
Keela, were you smiling?
Cause that drill's just Calamity's her fault. That's it.
All right. If you want, you can repeat the sleight of hand check.
Oh, please.
All
Hey,
right.
There
This
we go.
time you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
You,
25.
you bypass the chest. You pop it open. and inside you see spare robes, much like you
Oh.
saw back at the
Okay.
back of the tree, and then nestled inside them, two little metal figurines of crickets with saddles on them. One of them is bronze and one of them is iron.
Hmm. I was gonna take them out and kind of look at them. Like,
Yeah.
is that
There,
weird?
you turn them over and you see there is a word written on each one.
Bronze and iron, and they have a word on them. Okay.
Yep. The word on the iron cricket is tempestrous,
Okay.
and the word on the bronze cricket is acheta.
Oh, these are big words. Something tells me it's probably best to wait till we're outside before I say these words anywhere near these things. I mean, not a kind of magic use of it. It just seems like common sense. Maybe recall no more.
I'll, after reading what you passed to me, Rakah will sort of put a hand to his forehead and just dwell in what he read for a moment, and then he'll kind of try to grab some of the books that were left there, and maybe stash them in his book pack, and also take the diary, and scan around the room just to see if there's anything else of interest.
Looks like you found everything.
Mm-hmm. And he will come in here and join his fellows. Hey everyone, what's Keela? Were you smiling?
No.
Oh, trick of the light, I guess. Anyway,
You saw nothing.
Okay. No need to get weird, Theron.
Actually, I did. I was looking on the desk here. I don't know if this is relevant to what we're looking at, but it's Trill's to-do list. It says 1, compile potion research notes. 2, organize spell reagents. 3, feed Bruno. 3A, figure out if Bruno actually needs to eat. 4, present experimental weapon to Adara Thornheart for approval. And then 5, show Killian the crickets. She'll love them.
Well, found the crickets.
I think we found Bruno.
And definitely found Bruno.
And I found Killian, or at least her memories. And I will hold up the diary.
Well,
She survived then.
One of the last pages with an entry mentions that she was feeling better after taking the anti-planticide that Trill prepared. She wanted to give back. She wanted to try and help.
I'd love to help too, but as you might have noticed, we haven't found this experimental weapon or the as Fidel.
Yeah, we
So,
might do well to try and track that down.
yeah. Any idea what it looks like in the wild?
Well, there are some tracks that lead out of here. We could try following them.
Yeah.
So it said she felt better.
Yes. Specifically, she references her ability to think without the bramble clouding her mind.
We assumed that the broken locks were someone getting here before us, which is true, obviously. But what if it was someone here the whole time? What if she was still alive and broke everything open and took the stuff that was important and stashed it somewhere?
A distinct possibility. She could also have taken it in an attempt to stave off her condition. Or, well, if the bramble resurged, taken it at the bramble's direction and destroyed it. We won't know until we go looking.
Keela, can you follow those tracks?
Should be able to. I mean, I hope so.
Lead on, because we don't have much time.
No.
And
We better hurry.
I'll just kind of follow Keela, and wherever Keela wants the bullseye lantern, that's where the bullseye lantern will point.
Cool.
All right.
As
Well, he
we
said they went back to the stairs, so.
They did.
as we get to this hallway, Raka will wave at Bruno.
Yeah.
Say,
Bye,
Goodbye,
Bruno.
Go
Bruno.
like,
We love you, Bruno.
And then he'll turn in here and turn the glow crystal off so that the bullseye lantern is the primary light.
okay. You work your way up, back up the stairs. You see no sign of the moss wolves that were stalking you earlier.
Good boy, Bruno.
Because the signs came down in Bruno's mouth.
And you're back up on the back in the ground floor of Trill's house. And the trail you were following has unfortunately been blown over by the passing of many feet.
That's sad.
You're not sure where it goes from here. But just when you're about to try to figure out where to go next, you hear bong, 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 bong.
I killed the
Sonorous
bullseye lantern.
chimes of the church bells from the cathedral.
Yep, kill the lantern, get low.
Yep.
Ears folded back, all that stuff.
Get low.
Could we count the rings or the bell?
Sure. You. So, I would say it doesn't seem to correspond to the time.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out was the actual time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as I recall, when we were passing by Alkheim to get to the Withered Elm, we heard a similar ringing.
You did.
Yeah.
Does it essentially sound like the exact same pattern?
It does.
Okay.
And so you're still in the house. Are you just trying to lay low? Are you looking out?
I mean, I know it's dark, but I think Keel would like to try and peer out and see if anything is moving around.
You
That's
see
not
light.
like, oh, there's light.
A yellow-green glowing light, almost like the light of a firefly, but on a larger scale.
Mm.
Being held by someone walking through the streets.
Okay.
And the light begins to cast on the street around it. You see other figures walking along with this figure. You see a few of the moss wolves pull off of their patrol and begin to join the procession. You see a number of a number of blights and a number of the empty people who are the half plant walking along in a large parade. And at the head of this parade is the tall figure of a doe.
Oh.
We move you over to this map again.
Oh.
She is carrying the lantern in one hand and a long, crooked wooden staff in the other. And she is coming closer to where you're hiding. And as she does, you can see the wood grain that makes up her skin. There is she's wearing a green dress that is half overtaken by leaves and a crown of brilliant white flowers. And everything that she is passing seems to be following along behind her.
Did we at any point see pictures of Indira Thornheart?
Nah, that's what I was asking. I was like, do we know what she looks like?
You do not.
But you said this was a doe?
This is a doe.
Yeah.
A deer?
A female deer?
Female.
Deer.
You knew that was coming.
At least
you
it was
let
all
us
set
do
as a
it.
group.
Yep.
It's like somebody's going to have to get this out, so let's just rip the
Let's
Band-Aid
do
off.
it. And her entire body is like bark.
Yes.
And they're all following her. Where is she headed towards?
She appears to be making her way around the middle ring road. And as she comes to the point nearest to you, right here,
Yeah.
you see her turn and look directly at you.
Oh boy.
And she eases the staff into the crook of her elbow, and with her free hand, and then turns and begins walking toward the cathedral as the bells continue to chime.
Think service is in session. We should attend.
Into the layer of with all
mean,
that.
We've been spotted. Either way, we're running.
We have an invitation, at least.
Maybe follow, see what there is to see.
God.
If anything comes at us, we hightail it.
Farther towards the massive
For the
group.
love of the Amaranthine. Oh, this is a bad idea. And slowly
I don't disagree.
towards the procession because it's a bad idea, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah. Rakal will kind of muss himself up just a little bit more and join the Black Parade.
Let's. I'll take lead. Stay behind me. Nyril, take the rear guard, if you don't mind.
Yeah, got it. I mean, let's all go towards all the monsters instead of away from where they all are. But yes, it's just brilliant.
Well, if it's stupid, I'll be the one to pay for it. So, first.
Yeah, first, exactly.
I mean, might have the seed wherever they are going. Might be nice to know where that is.
I could go alone and come back.
What have I told you about that already?
Because I'm not talking about going all the way to...
No.
I'm just saying I can run really fast if I need to.
No.
Going where's all going.
Exactly.
Look, it's just that Rakar's really slow, okay?
Also, if
Oh,
she turns out to be bad, which I'm reckoning she is, be a good chance to test this sword before we get to Lorik.
True.
gonna be mad if we end up killing his tree wife,
I mean,
if that's who she is.
in good news, he won't be around for long. He won't be able to stay mad for long once we get to him.
Well, good point there. All right, let's follow along.
Should we walk normal or shamble?
Normal, she already knows.
We
I mean, you
will.
can eat shamble if you want.
On his way, Rakal will do the thriller dance,
Uh,
which he's bad at because his dexterity is bad.
Yeah, the charisma could help his performance score. But
There you
anyway,
go.
Fair point. Fair point.
all right.
We'll follow the
So,
procession.
To
You
the
follow the
cathedral.
procession. A moss wolf steps out from the side street, almost colliding with you, but just turns and joins the stream. Doesn't seem to. It sort of looks at you and curls a lip, but keeps on walking. And the procession goes down the concentric steps into the basin where the cathedral stands, and to the front doors of the cathedral, which stand wide open as the bells boom out above you.
Hmm.
And we'll move you into the cathedral.
This is a very, very bad idea.
Yes, bad idea.
All right. So you see before you a very different style of cathedral than the one in Maple Crest, still with the sun emblem on the floor, but looking very worn down. You see in the center is the trunk of this magnificent alder tree that you've seen, and you can see the green leaves hanging down from the high branches, and the branches continue up out through the broken roof of the cathedral. The blights and moss wolves are all gathered around, and
Hello there.
at a place of authority before the tree stands the wooden doe, who looks at you again and beckons you closer.
Kind
Well,
of
might
like the
have
view
turned out
from
an
where we're
invitation.
at. Hello. Oh.
Rakal will put a wing on Keela's shoulder and go, "Have faith," and just wander on forward.
Oh. She huddles after him.
Yep. Go to.
Yep. The doe takes her staff, crooked head of the staff, and reaches over and touches it to the trunk of the tree. At the base, all these various enormous boughs come together into a massive, thick trunk, about 12 feet in diameter, covered in moss and lichen. And before your eyes, this moss and lichen begin to swirl and take shapes on the side of the tree. You see the moss take the shape of a walled city. And then the walls rush toward you, and you are in the city. The view on the side of the trunk. You see at the heart of the city a doe bearing a staff, and a tall stag carrying a great sword. They stand before an alder tree growing in the middle of a cathedral, and they embrace. Then another figure, a fox, joins the pair, pointing behind itself with urgency. The stag looks, gives the doe a parting kiss, takes up his sword, and follows. The doe clears the image, and another image forms, a deep forest. The stag and the fox arrive, swords drawn, and they are immediately confronted by a horde of insect creatures covered in thorns. They fight desperately. The fox goes down. The stag carves through several more of the creatures, but then he is confronted by an enormous pod-shaped monstrosity waving thorny tendrils. His sword is knocked aside. He backs away, nearly defeated, until he looks behind him and sees a sword hilt protruding from the trunk of a tree. A green-wrapped hilt with an elegantly twisted ring guard. He draws it free and cuts the monster to pieces. And then he stares at the sword in awe. He turns to leave, finds his fox companion lying on the ground, helps him to his feet. The fox stumbles, cradling a wound in his stomach, but follows along. The scene changes again. The stag has returned to the walled city with the green-hilted sword and is hailed as a hero by the cheering people. He joins the doe, and they embrace once more. Then they are approached by a pale-feathered raven who carries a cage containing a struggling mass of vines. The raven begins speaking to the doe, but the doe pounds her staff against the ground. The raven persists, and the doe beats her staff again. The raven hesitates, then hangs her head and walks away. Now we see an enormous tree in the forest. The white-feathered raven arrives, still carrying the cage, looks around her, and climbs into the tree. The view pulls back, and the forest shrinks. Enough to see a tide of rippling yellow flame is encroaching from the distant east, threatening both the tree and the city. Another scene. The city is full of smoke. Terrified people are beseeching the stag and the doe. The doe points into the cathedral, and the people crowd inside. A stairway in the floor beneath the alder tree opens up into an underground passageway to a large system of catacombs behind a heavy iron door. The people flock through the door, which closes to seal them inside. The stag and his fox companion stand guard with the green-hilted sword just outside the door. The doe then stands beneath the alder tree as fire besieges the cathedral. She weaves great magics, torrents of rain and winds to beat back the flames, which take the shape of imps and snakes and other monsters. As she fights, the fox from before creeps up behind her, now covered in thorny vines. He stabs her. She flings him away with a spell, but the damage is done. The flames overwhelm the cathedral, and she collapses next to the alder tree. And the stag now stands alone before the door. The creatures of fire assail him from every side, and he fights valiantly, but eventually he is overwhelmed. He falls to the floor, unmoving. The scene changes. The forest as a whole is ravaged by the flames, but slowly the fire recedes. And then a dark stain begins to spread from the elm tree to the north down into the city. Vines creep into the cathedral, around the alder tree, and down the stairs, where they find the stag. They invade his body, replacing his arm and parts of his face with wood. The stag rises, disoriented, and staggers up the stairs to find the doe crumpled at the foot of the alder tree. He roars in grief and rage. Then he lifts her to the branches of the alder tree, which lean down to embrace her. Her burned and broken body turns to wood. Then the stag leaves the cathedral and turns to the east, where the fires came from. A new sword emerges from his wooden arm. He lifts it over his shoulder and begins marching to the eastern horizon. The doe lets this image fade, brings her staff down to her side, and looks at you.
That's how it happened.
Lorik once had this. And he draws the sword from his side, not in a threatening way, but just to display it so that the doe can see it. And it's the Sword of Gaspard, the same one that Lorik held.
Doe looks and
Nyril sheathes it again. Your Lorik, he's returned.
she nods again.
But he does not bring peace.
She shakes her head.
He comes to lord over free peoples, peaceful peoples, and to take by force that which they built.
She nods again.
Do you agree with what he's doing?
She shakes her head.
Do you know how to help us?
Her staff sweeps down at the foot of the alder tree, and you see new plant growth beginning to shift from beneath the bracken underneath. Green stems that grow buds and open up into white lilies. Asphodel.
Rakal will cautiously step up. Before taking anything, he will do a little reverent head bow with wings pressed together and just briefly say, "May I?"
She nods.
He will kneel down and collect what he can.
And then she holds up a one hooved digit and then takes her staff and pounds it against the floor. And stone, with a scrape of stone on stone, stairs begin to descend at the foot of the alder tree. And she gestures down toward it.
Is
He
this a
looks-
passage somewhere?
Yeah.
She once again sticks her staff to the tree. You see the inner chamber where everyone hid themselves from the fires of the calamity. She points to the people in the image and then points out all the way around the city.
Corrupted now.
She nods.
If we stop him, will it save this place too?
She pauses. And then she sticks her staff against the tree. You see a ruined city. And then you see the ruins begin to diminish, sink into the ground, and new growth replaces them. Wild growth. No civilization, but an end to this.
You're asking us to free you.
She nods.
We'll do our best. You didn't deserve this. No one did. Do we need to go down? Is there something down there we need?
She nods.
Thank you.
Darren will go down.
Idara, thank you for your help. We'll do what we can. I promise.
She puts a hand to her chest and bows.
And Keela's gonna go on down the path. Woo!
I guess Rakaw might be the last one going down. He will pause and give a really long look at Idara, and before he goes down the stairs, he will say, "We will remind him of you before the end."
She reaches and just gently cups your cheek. Bows her head.
Well, down the stairs I go.
Nyril had not
Alright.
actually gone down yet. He's going to look at her and say, if we free you, wait for him on the shore. You'll understand when you see it. But wait for him, it'll be better that way. And he's going to head down.
All right. You descend down these stairs into a dark, dank, and cold environment. Unsure of what you're going to face. But that's what we're going to find out in the next session, because it is time to end.
Oh,
Yes.
yep.
Wow. That was really cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad we followed her instead of being like, bye.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all go that way.
Yeah, this is a neat map here, too. I like this.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yep, that is a good cliffhanger to end on, so we can start in a brand new area with mystery.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for another amazing session. Thank you, Rastavar, for again writing all this, building all the maps, and taking us through it, because this is an awesome adventure. And now Nyril really wants to know who that fox was he was seeing in the moss.
Yeah.
I'm probably have to check my notes because maybe I know and I've just forgotten. But I don't recall that. So that was a
Yeah,
new twist.
Same. I don't recall the fox. So I don't think we knew about him before. What a jerk. Well, I mean, I guess he
Foxes.
was kind of infected with the icky bramble. So, not entirely his fault, but still, jerk. Everything was going to be fine until you did that.
Curse those nanoprobes. I mean spores.
Well, we will
Actually,
find out.
the person we need to really be pissed off at is Trill.
Yep. Turns out Trill was the big bad the whole time.
I know, right? Who knew?
But yep, well, let's have to find out next time. The next session is going to be in 2 weeks. This is an every other Friday game. My regular streams are art, but so it looks like Friday, February 4th is our next one. Everybody good for that day?
Yep.
As far as I know.
Should be.
Alrighty. And who knows, you guys might have your care packages by then. So
Sweet.
to
Very
see what
cool.
I can get done. And if the Postal Service is willing to play along. But
There's
That's
the real trick. Yeah,
yep.
exactly.
But I should probably let you go. I'm going to hang out with chat here for a little bit before I have to crash because I am feeling the effects of a very long week. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I have no problem staying up, but I'm getting over Omicron and it still wipes me out. So, yeah, not fun. But all right. Well, I will let you guys go if you want to say goodnight. I'll
Good
pop
night,
over
everyone.
to the chat.
Night, thanks for
Good night,
joining us.
Thanks
Yeah.
for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
A lot of
Alrighty.
fun.
Have a good night,
Very much
everybody. Chat, here I come.